No, I'm not waiting. It's 7:30. We have 4 board members here. Lee wants to do tomatoes and rice vinegar. Let him do tomatoes. I'm doing the meeting. I need a motion and a second to call the meeting of the Connecticut Board of Education public session to order.
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Is my lid on?
Yes.
Okay.
Aye.
That was to reconvene the public meeting, by the way. Jesse, will you please call the roll? Oh, did I skip that? I did. Can we all please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance with a moment of silence for all those who have served and are serving? Jesse, can you lead us today? It was a shot.
I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Jesse, please call the roll. I'm so short in this chair.
We have Mrs. Panico,
Here.
Mr. Washaw,
Present.
Mrs. Napolitano-Furno,
Here.
Mrs. Augulus joining us via Zoom. We also have Mrs. Kennedy joining us via Zoom as well. Are you in, Ms. Kennedy?
Yeah, present.
Then we have Mr. Kohler-Hefar,
Hi there.
Mr. Middleman,
Present.
Ms. Villareale, present, and Dr. Adams, present. We also have Ms. Hutchinson, legal counsel, present, and myself, the district clerk.
Thank you, Jesse. Changes to the meeting agenda will be done in the section that it is happening. I need a motion and a second to accept the minutes of the May 18th, 2021 Board of Education meeting.
Motion.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
I need a motion and a second.
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Do we have student government here tonight?
No.
We should have students presenting a proposal.
Yeah, but that's not right now. This is the government.
He's doing it during that. He's the president-elect of student
Okay.
government.
Is he here yet? Oh, okay. And you are? Hi, Zachary. And congratulations.
Thank you so much. Good evening. To start, I would like to thank you, Dr. Adams, as well as the Board of Education for giving me the time and opportunity to speak with you tonight. Moving into the 2021-2022 school year, I will sit as student government president. Currently, I'm a junior here at the high school. I come here with one purpose tonight, that being to gain approval for the painting of our senior parking spots. As you go through the next couple of images, you'll see pictures of students painting their favorite TV shows, sports teams, sports numbers, portraits, as they engage in an event that showcases beautiful senior camaraderie. And this is an amazing fundraiser that is done across the country, specifically on high schools on Long Island, such as Half Hollow Hills, Eastport South Manor, as well as Walt Whitman. And this is very easy to say, you're going to throw some paint on the concrete, but as we know, it's a lot more complex than that. So tonight, I will detail an outline plan of painting the parking spots in hopes to gain your approval. So the preliminary steps to an event like this will students obtaining a parking pass. This is done through the Connecticut High School Security Department towards the middle to end of summer as they submit their senior license and registration. Next, students will have to submit a design and a permission slip. To elaborate on that, students will have to submit a design of exactly what they are going to paint on their parking spot. This will have to be approved by the student government officers and by the advisors, Mr. and Mrs. Piscitelli, as well as a permission slip from a parent or legal guardian stating that they will paint exactly what they have done. This is done as a measure to make sure that there is no profanity or other types of vandalism on school property. And then lastly, students will have to pay a set amount of $30 to the student government. This is where the fundraising aspect of the event comes in. Next, students will have to seek approval. As stated, they'll have to submit a photo of their design, of their drawing. So within this, we will not accept any offensive language, pictures, or symbols, no negative or rude language. There'll be no gang-style tagging, and there'll be no other names in the spot holder's name. Again, all measures to make sure there's no profanity or bullying taking place within this fundraiser. And then we will encourage students to put their sports numbers, their titles, their names, anything that showcases their school spirit, to paint a beautiful visual across our senior parking lot. Now, the actual painting itself, students will have to go to a local hardware store. I plan on going to Long Island Building Supply of Bohemia in order to get some type of agreement with the store to have a student discount on paint, as well as Oakdale Paint and Hardware, showing your school ID, possibly getting 10% off, as the students will have to bring their own paint to the event that they'll have to buy in addition to the $30 charge for the spot. They will have to buy a specific type of latex-based paint. This is to ensure that there's durability and correct treatment of the blacktop. This is meant to be on concrete. Next, students will have to come to the school at a set date before August 23rd. We're doing this because that is when school sports start, and we want to make sure that everyone can be involved in an event like this. They'll bring certain materials such as paint, brushers, rollers, paint trays, all of the above, just to make sure that they can have it on their spot. And they'll paint on a certain time window in this date. We'll set a rain date as well, because obviously it's weather pending. And they'll have to stay within a 6-inch border of the white lines, just to ensure for an easy cleanup at the end of the year, which I'll get to a little bit further. Next, you may ask, where will the painting happen? So this is a photo of the back lot of the high school where seniors usually park off of the tech and science wings. In that spot there, in that picture, there's 162 spots painted. However, we do plan on opening it up to sell 200 of these spots, leaving an additional approximately 200 other spots for students and teachers who do not want to paint their parking spots or teachers that park in the back lot. This is as per the request of Mr. Moran that students do it within this region. Next, how will students choose a spot? On the right side of the screen, you will see that there's something that you might see when you're buying a movie theater ticket. It's what you reserve a seat with, and we're doing something similar to this, some type of visual ledger. As students buy their tickets, they will submit their payment and choose a spot. This will also act as a security measure, because we will know if there's unwanted visitors within the school, because they'll have their specific spot. We'll know exactly who's there and what they're doing. And this will also be act for great organization on paint day. As students come in, they'll know exactly where to go, and there'll be a lot less confusion. Now, the aftermath of the event. You may ask what students will do if they don't have their senior license by our paint date in August, considering the cutoff date is at the end of December. So towards the middle of October, weather pending, of course, depending on the temperature and how cold it is, we'll host a second paint date for students that weren't able to obtain their senior license at that given time. Possibly Columbus Day weekend has been discussed, but that's to be determined further down the line. And after the spots are painted, again, this paint is meant to withstand clouds, rain, snow, and ice. And then at the end of the school year, the Connecticut grounds caretakers have kindly agreed that they will go over the spots for us and prepare the parking lot for the next year for the students to paint, to repeat the fundraiser again. This is something that we want to be a time-honored tradition, a legacy for underclassmen to look up to as they get their license and sit as seniors with their parking spots in the high school. So now, why does this matter? Students have lost many events on their pathway to graduation. We have a lack of live events. This is another type of event that seniors will be able to look forward to. Again, camaraderie amongst the senior class, something that can really make memories, which is so important. Student government will also be able to make a strong financial recovery after the past year that was so difficult to fundraise in, obviously due to lack of live events and many things that student government does in the high school, such as Safe Halloween, Homecoming, and our holiday light show. We need funding to get off the ground. To give you a ballpark image, after some added expenses at the end of the event, if 200 students out of the 450 of the senior class were able to participate, we would raise around $5,500, which would be a huge, amazing way to start the school year. Additionally, students are thrilled. They're so excited to get into this. And I remember one of my friends went to Walt Whitman High School for a game, and they had seen the parking lot and said, why don't we do this? Kids want it. Underclassmen talking about it. Upon my election, this is something that I had discussed, and everyone is so excited to get into it. And just some final thoughts. I'd like to add, in addition to what's on the screen, that Mr. Moran, as well as the high school administration, security department, and Connecticut Grounds have all kindly listened to this presentation and heard of the idea, and they're all on board with it. Obviously, students are on board with it as well, which is the most important thing. I'd also like to add that a lot of this information has come with some of my original ideas in collaboration with other students through some connections I have with Rotary, as well as some serious online sucking, I was able to talk to student government representatives from those other 3 high schools on Long Island that initiated the event in their school. And this was amazing. I was able to gain insight and adapt to their plans and what they had done in order to fit Connect in the best way, as well as make it as beneficial and positive as possible. So now, lastly, I ask you, grant permission for the painting of senior parking spots, not only for the added security enforcement, not only for the visual appeal, and not only for the memories that it'll make, but most importantly, for the motivation and passion that students like myself and ones that stand behind me have for such an amazing event like this. Again, I'd like to thank you so much for your time. And one final thing I would like to add is, since this will be happening over the summer, it's a time-sensitive matter with 9 school days left, full school days. We need to get this information out quickly. So I ask that before you ask me any questions, you consider that this has to be done in a short time. And I would appreciate a quick response.
You had me at hello.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. First of all, let me just stay up here for a second because I have a couple questions. First of all, I just want to say that you're an amazing speaker.
Thank you.
You don't need to take that class in college.
A little
So
nervous.
just skip that. No, you did wonderful. Public speaking 101, you've aced it already.
Thank you.
You
so
got
much.
it, so you can skip that one. Tell your college I told them that. I do have a question. What about the kids that want to do it, but they're just not artistic? Do you have a plan for helping them out, maybe with a more artistic kid or
Yeah,
working?
that's a great point. So, one of my good friends is I'm a member of the Art Honor Society,
Awesome.
which is an amazing program within our school. And those students, I haven't spoken to the advisor of the club directly, but I do have plans on speaking to them and getting their club involved and drawing up designs for students that have an idea in their head that they can't put on paper, and then working alongside them, especially if these students are, underclassmen that won't be painting their own spots. They can definitely help out with that.
Great, that's
Great
awesome. And then the only other question I have, which is not for you, is what is the cost of the district for the painting over it? Thank you, John. Just so that we're aware of every aspect of it.
Well done, sir.
Yeah, very well. I was
So-
very excited to hear you speak.
Yeah, very, very well done. There will be a cost for the asphalt sealer. That's not something that the district typically applies on a regular basis. That said, we do periodically paint the lines and everything else. So it's probably going to be a half day's worth of labor and a couple $100s for the materials to
So not anything exorbitant.
completely insignificant relative to the scope of work that th's talking about.
And with all the money that we waste in this district, I'm sure that's
Understand?
not a bad thing. Okay, I would like to make a recommendation. Okay, go ahead.
I have a question. So, I love this idea, like Marty had me at her.
Yep,
Linda Adams and I, and John Allen actually spoke about this prior to the pandemic, and of course things got a little crazy there. So I noticed that you are charging $30. Can you elaborate again the $30 was? Because I did notice
Fundraising.
last year or some time ago when they
She
were
probably didn't hear you.
doing it in other schools. I totally love the idea. Linda can vouch for that. But what's the $30 for? And is it the $30 and then plus the student has to pay for their own paint supplies?
Yes, correct. The student has to pay for their own paint supplies in addition to the $30. In my eyes, and in what we see with this event, as students every single day come into the back parking lot, they have to find a random parking spot. They don't have a set spot every single day. Often teachers get here before and take all the spots lining the front row, which, the teachers won't be happy about this. But we see that students have a different spot every single day. There's definitely some territorial issues between students over their spots. So that $30 would go to having a designated spot every day, which students are thrilled about. Also the $30, like I said, since student government had a difficult year due to the pandemic, we weren't able to raise a lot of money in order to have events like the Holiday Light Show and Homecoming and fund those. That money would directly contribute back into student government and other events that we're doing.
did you hear that, Mylene?
Yeah, I love it. I think it's a fantastic idea. Now, one other question, say for example, a child has maybe difficulty coming up with the $30. Is there any way that can be subsidized to help a child if they want to participate, but maybe can't get the $30?
That's something that we haven't discussed. However, student government does have some funds, and being that this is such a profitable event, if there was an extenuating circumstance where we would have to do this, I'm sure that we could accommodate them. Also, I am a member of Helping Hands Club, and I'm president of the Interact Club in the high school, which help with community service. And I know that those clubs have had no problem donating the money for the students to participate in an event like this.
That's awesome, awesome. Jackie, you are the man, absolutely. Your mother and father should be very, very, very proud of you.
Eileen, I just want to ask them a question. Are there enough parking spots for the amount of students that have the parking permits and are able to do this?
Thank you. Yes. So something that we had talked about, Ms. Moran and myself, there are 330 parking passes that we give out every single year. I know there will be students that won't be able to make the paint day or won't want to do it. And there's also approximately, I don't know the exact number, there's about 450 spots in the back, I think. So with teachers, students, and all of that, we were going to cap it off at 200 spots for the time being, and then moving into the next paint session, students that weren't able to do it we would open it up to more spots. As far as like labor and all of that, we wanted to keep it to a certain area. And
I love this idea, and by the way, I saw this proposal, and I gotta give you a lot of credit.
Yeah.
I actually thought this was done by Mr. Moran's office. I thought it was done by the high school. This is amazing, really,
thank
great
you so
job.
much. Thank you.
And,
Great job.
and I have my vote. I mean,
Well,
and I gotta
we're
say
not voting yet, but here's what we have to do to vote. I would like to make a motion to walk this on to the consent agenda this evening.
tonight,
There is?
okay,
It's on the consent agenda?
oh, good, so let's vote on it.
So we can vote on it right now? Okay.
Oh, one other thing, hold on. John, quick question for you. If we get into a situation where there aren't enough parking spots, I was at the high school last week with Mylin, we were walking around the back. There is a lot of dead field back there, not to interrupt this. Maybe we could look into making more parking, figure out something,
That's
the
a,
next capital
that's a totally
project.
another topic,
I
Jackie.
know, but I just wanted to get
But
it out there for him.
we're staying on track today.
Keep it in
John,
mind, John.
we're
There's
gonna,
a lot of dead
we can
space.
talk to you that after that.
Talking.
We're staying on topic tonight. Okay, write it down, Jackie, and we're staying on topic tonight. I love you, but we're staying on topic. Robert's rules tonight. So there is an action item, so we're gonna call for a vote right now. I need a motion and a second.
Motion,
Second,
All in favor?
aye.
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 The motion has passed. You got your.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Good.
Thank you very much. Enjoy. Good luck.
Please
That's what
invite
it's all
us to
about
see
right
it when you
there.
guys are done.
That's what it's all about. That's awesome. Okay, that's the stuff I care about. The rest of this stuff is no good. I don't care about the other stuff. All right, policy. Code of conduct policy. I need a motion and a second, and then we need some discussion. Where'd that go? Student government, and then policy went to.
Because he actually skipped.
Oh, did I?
Yeah, he-
Oh,
Okay. All right, no problem. I'll go this way. Student government, okay, here we go. So, Linda, we're doing the retiree tenure recognitions.
I'm going to pass this over. We're going to do tenure first. Okay. I'll read it.
I got my thing. Well, we're getting that together.
Am I still on?
You are on. So tonight is the annual Passing the Torch Board of Education meeting. Because of COVID, we're doing this virtually. So the most important thing we do as school administrators is select and tenure teachers who will impact thousands of students in their time at Connecticut schools. That was way too fast. Can we not actually have them fade in and out? Is there a way to slow it down? Thank you. The candidates before you today have been selected carefully, provided with countless hours of professional development and mentoring, have been evaluated by members of the administrative staff,
Jesse.
and we went too far. I'm not speaking quickly enough, Jesse, I'm sorry. Okay, and have been deemed worthy of tenure by the Connecticut School District. Each candidate is spoken about by his or her primary administrator. Just put the slide up. Don't play the show. Just put the slide up.
Presentation, because they did a much better job on theirs. They know the timing buttons. I bet you come up here and do it really quick. Where'd he go? It should be under timing.
Victor, if you go to the top slideshow, that top tab. Does that talk about timing? Or the transition, I'm sorry. It's a transition.
No, it's not the transition. It's the timing. Yeah,
And apply it to all.
apply to all.
Thank you.
Each candidate was presented with a verbal recommendation and a written recommendation by their administrator, and Mr. Kolahifar will present each tenure candidate for your
Don't see the full
consideration.
screen, Jess.
Okay, so our first tenure candidate is Jean Guerin. Jean Guerin is a special ed teacher at Cherokee. Ms. Guerin brings much passion, professionalism, and love to her students and our school community. She is an excellent planner and professional learner, preparing lessons that are both challenging and reinforcing. She cultivates a warm and engaging classroom environment. She continually refines her craft as a reflective instructor. She is truly a beloved educator and an asset to our school and all the students that enter her classroom. So that is our first candidate. Everything that I speak about tonight in relation to the teachers was given to us by their supervisors. So I am just essentially quoting them. Most of the pictures were originally taken from their photo ideas, but because they did come out blurry, we were able to get some better pictures. So Ms. Guerin was one of them. Our next tenure candidate is Lori Hornet. Lori Hornet is a school counselor at OBMS. She is a skilled and compassionate counselor on the OBMS guidance team. She comes to us with experience and insight as a children's bereavement counselor at Hospice Care Network. She has earned her mental health counseling license within the past few years, further demonstrating her commitment to learning and growing her craft as a counselor. In addition to helping students with personal, social, and academic concerns, Lori has also taken an active role in organizing building initiatives and special events. The OBMS community is lucky to have such a caring, devoted counselor and student advocate, and that is Lori Hornet. Our next tenure candidate is Miss Rebecca Kunz. Ms. Kunz came to us with a range of experiences in the field of education. She is dually certified in middle childhood, special education, and general education grades 5 through 9 and 1 through 6. She is certified Wilson reading teacher levels 1 and 2. She uses her background knowledge to connect with her students and goes out of her way to reach them. She differentiates her instruction and modifies materials to meet individuals' needs. She is part of a strong ICT team, and her co-teachers have become stronger teachers because of her influence. She continually seeks out ways to learn and grow professionally. Ms. Kunz. Our next tenure candidate is Mia Lagravenese. Ms. Lagravenese has a range of experiences teaching ENL and Spanish in New York City and Connecticut prior to joining our staff in 2017. Her varied skills and capacity has been an asset to our ENL program and to our school community. She is an integral part of the language development and learning successes for her students. Mia goes above and beyond for her students outside the classroom as well. She looks to support their social, emotional growth and helps to ensure they are involved in co-curricular and extracurricular activities such as sports, clubs, or of interest. She is a collaborative educator and a consummate professional. Ms. Lagravenese. Our next tenure candidate is Nicole Mamina. Ms. Mamina is a special ed teacher at OBMS, RMS, and the high school. She serves the community secondary schools as a board-certified behavior analyst, working with special education students who present with behavioral concerns or have mandated services as part of their IEP. Ms. Mamima works collaboratively with her teachers, classroom, and building staff, as well as parents, by providing strategies and plans to assist students to be successful in our schools. She is a team player whose clear communication and student assessments and plans positively impact the special education department. Ms. Mamima. Our next tenure candidate is Elise McGuire. Elise is a special ed teacher at Boston, Idlehour, Pearl, and Sycamore. As a behavior analyst for the four elementary schools, Ms. McGuire applies her excellent clinical skills to individual students. She conducts functional behavior assessments, collects and analyzes data, and writes behavioral intervention plans. Her plans often result in the reduction of negative behaviors, allowing our students to be more successful in their academic pursuits. She has a good rapport with the teachers, students, and families, and can always be counted on to follow up as needed. Ms. McGuire is well respected by her colleagues and is an asset to the Connecticut School District. Ms. McGuire. Our next tenure candidate is Ms. Kimberly Nofi. Mrs. Nofi's number one priority has always been the health and well-being of the children of Ronkonkoma Middle School. She seeks every opportunity to collaborate with her colleagues because of her team approach to mental wellness. Ms. Nofi has implemented many new and worthwhile programs for our students. Her efforts go well beyond our DASA weeks and permeates through the hallways and classrooms daily. Ms. Nofi's calming voice on our morning announcements reminds students to take a pause and be mindful at the start of each day. She advocates for making positive choices and avoiding dangerous and risky behaviors, brings experts in the field into Ronkonkoma Middle School to educate our students. Ms. Nofi. Our next tenure candidate is Ms. Monica Ojeda. Dr. Ojeda is the preschool psychologist for the CAPS program at Boston. She has excellent clinical skills, which applies during group and individual counseling. She is adept at providing students with strategies to reduce anxiety and express their feelings. She has frequent contact with parents to ensure their partnership in the educational process. She collaborates with colleagues to create comprehensive plans to assist students both academically and socio-emotionally. She oversees the referral process for CPSE and ensure compliance with Part 200 regulations. She is an invaluable member of the CAPS and CPSE CSE teams. That's Dr. Ojeda. Our next candidate is Jennifer Pancota. Jennifer Pancota is a speech pathologist at Sycamore. Ms. Pancota is a highly effective speech pathologist whose students consistently show progress towards their IEP goals. She plans lessons for students laser-focused on goals, creating interdisciplinary literacy lessons to enhance the whole child's understanding. She has volunteered as the department's ICT, which is the instructional support team member, bringing valuable insight to difficult cases. She demonstrates professionalism in every manner, working hard with mandated students, but always willing to help meet the building RTI demands. And that's Ms. Pancota. Our next candidate is Ms. Yasmin Rutkowski. Ms. Rutkowski is a team member who goes above and beyond each day to help her students succeed, as well as bring the world language and ENL departments together in support of each other. She is always willing to share new ideas, participate in the department activities, and provide leadership to others. She has been instrumental in assisting her colleagues in the application of new technology, especially during this year of hybrid instruction. It is a pleasure to walk into her classroom to see students fully engaged, using the target language and eager to learn. She recently embraced the challenge of teaching mathematics to ENL students in a co-teaching environment. And because of the quality of her teaching, our ENL students were far more successful than in prior years. That's Ms. Rutkowski. Our next candidate is Ms. Suzanne Summerhalter. She's a music teacher at Duffield and Slocum. Ms. Summerhalter is genuinely dedicated to her students. She engages students with lessons modified to the varied abilities within each group. Her lessons are creative, enriching, and challenging. She is a reflective teacher and is always seeking ways to best meet her students' needs. She has volunteered to participate and facilitate many school-wide and PTA events during the day and evening. She began the flag-raising ceremony on Veterans Day and has planned the entire event, including enriching activities for all students. She is highly respected by the PTA, her colleagues, and our students. Ms. Summerhalter. Our next tenure candidate for this year is Ms. Michelle Stella. She is a special ed teacher at Sycamore. Ms. Stella demonstrates pedagogy that is child-centered and standards-based. She uses a variety of methods to best accommodate the various needs of individuals within a diverse group of students. She is a reflective practitioner, always striving to improve. She incorporates our literacy initiative effectively with professionalism and positivity. She has demonstrated leadership, especially with the incorporation of the educational technology into lessons that benefit her students. She shares this knowledge with colleagues, resulting in a broader use of technology throughout the school. Ms. Stella demonstrates a love of children and places their need above all else. Ms. Stella. Bless you. Another tenure candidate we have is Stephanie Zabia. She is a school counselor at OBMS. Mrs. Zabia is an essential member of our school counseling team at OBMS. Her insight is impressive, and she has quickly become a go-to person for our students, parents, and teachers. Her genuine, personable approach plays a tremendous role in her ability to connect with her students as they continually seek her out for personal, social, and academic support. She has taken the initiative to plan new programs and special events that have helped foster a positive, trusting, and collaborative school environment. The students and families at OBMS are very fortunate to have Mrs. Zabia assisting and advocating for them. Mrs. Zabia. The next few people are tenure candidates that the board did already confer tenure on. But I think it's important, and I believe Dr. Adams believes it's important that we honor these people as well. So our first tenure candidate who has already been conferred with tenure is Miss Nancy Coleman. Miss Nancy Coleman is a reading teacher at John Pearl. Mrs. Coleman has developed into an outstanding reading teacher. She works collaboratively with her colleagues, always striving to provide the best reading instruction program for her students. Ms. Coleman contributes to the building level responsibilities that support the health and safety of the building. Regardless of task, Mrs. Coleman always models professionalism to all members of the school community. Our next individual who has already had tenure conferred back in January is Ms. Amy Duteau. Ms. Duteau supports and advocates for her students throughout every aspect of their intellectual, social, and emotional development. Ms. Duteau understands the importance of making connections with her students and is passionate about helping them feel successful. She differentiates her instruction and modifies materials to each student's needs. She is part of a strong ICT team, and it is clear that students benefit from her consistent support. She is continually seeking new ways to learn and grow professionally. Ms. Amy Duteau. Our next teacher tenure candidate, or recipient, I should say, is Ms. Christine Wynn. Her tenure was conferred in December. She is an ENL teacher here in the high school. Ms. Wynn began her career in Connecticut 4 years ago as an ENL teacher at Connecticut High School. She immediately made a positive impact on student learning as she began to know and work with her students, and continues to do so now. Ms. Wynn goes above and beyond every day to help her students succeed socially and academically. From greeting them as new entrants into our school district to collaborating with content area teachers, Ms. Nguyen plays an integral role in easing the transition of ENL students as they get accustomed to American culture and school life in the United States. Ms. Nguyen. Our next two individuals are tenure recipients, but they are principals. Our first one is Miss Jill Leahy, the principal at Cherokee Street Elementary School. Her tenure was conferred back in April. Ms. Leahy has been the principal of Cherokee Street Elementary School for the past 4 years. During this time, she has demonstrated effective leadership and dedicated service to the Connecticut Central School District by being an active resource for her staff and continually assisting with curriculum, implementation, instructional coaching, and problem solving. Over the past 4 years, Ms. Leahy has demonstrated a success at Cherokee in the areas of reflection, instruction, Connect and Grow innovation, RTI implementation, and Teachers College. She has had a positive impact on her school community as well as the district-wide administrative team. Under her leadership, Cherokee forged a pathway forward through this challenging school year. Throughout the reopening, losing an assistant principal, social distancing, mask wearing, and room utilization, Cherokee continues moving our literacy and mathematics curriculum forward while fostering the 21st century technology integration demand at this time. And that is Ms. Leahy. Our next tenure recipient was the principal at Boston Elementary School, Ms. Laura Kimball. Ms. Kimball has completed 4 years as the principal of Edward J. Boston Elementary School. Her effective leadership and dedicated service to the Connecticut School District has led to trusting relationships with students, staff, and Boston families. She has had a positive impact on her school community as well as a district-wide administrative team. Ms. Kimball is calm, consistent, and compassionate. Ms. Kimball is an active resource for her students and staff and has mentored several members during their administrative internships. As evidence of her commitment to several of our district-level initiatives, Ms. Kimball serves as on the District Wellness Policy Committee, the Literacy Implementation Leadership Committee, and the RTI MTSS Plan Committee. At this time, those are our tenure candidates, Ms. Panico, and the Connecticut School Board trustees. I'd like to acknowledge, I'm sorry, Dr. Adams, I think you were going to say this, but this is so.
This is mine.
All right, let me stop that. I apologize.
Mrs. Panico and the Connecticut Board of Education trustees, I'd like to acknowledge the previously confirmed tenure recipients, and I enthusiastically present this group of tenure candidates for your consideration and action. Please call for a vote.
I need a motion and a second to confer tenure.
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Thank you. Congratulations.
Congratulations, everyone.
Okay, we have, student government is here now and they are going to give us an update. Would you come on down? That's it? Rest of us there more.
I thought we were going to do the retirees, but we can do that after.
We're gonna do that right after. I wanna let the student government and then we'll do the retirees. They have to get up to school tomorrow, Reza.
Hello, I apologize. I got here after Zach, so I
No
have to go
worries.
now. So as the school year is coming to a close, we don't really have much going on. The senior banquet went well. It happened, and we got a great turnout.
Great.
Senior prom is going to be taking place at Eastwind, and we've been selling tickets, which has been going well. Unfortunately, Adventureland was canceled due to rain, but there will be a refund. And elections were conducted for student government, and we had a great turnout, better than we've had in years, even though despite it was done virtually. So that was very successful. That's it.
All right, awesome. Thank you so
Thank you.
much.
Have a good summer, everyone.
You too, enjoy.
Have fun, you guys.
Yes. Have fun at prom.
Have a good time at the,
Oh, see that? Okay. Oh, you're at junior prom?
have fun at their prom.
Oh, shoot. Oh, sophomore. Okay. Okay. All right, Reza, we're back to you. Sorry.
No need to apologize. Everybody rather listen to the students.
Yeah, I would rather hear from the students.
I'm
I'm
not
sorry.
insulted. So the next set of individuals are our retirees. We have this year over 50 retirees leaving our district. They have committed many, many collective years to the support and the students of this district. So I'm going to forego reading many of their names because I would rather just play the presentation. I may read the names as they pop up, but again, I think it's better if you just see who they are. So again, I want to wish them congratulations. Our first retiree, Miss Denise Hanaway. Mr. Chuck Murray, principal at Ronkonkoma Middle School. Mr. John Garbrick, transportation supervisor. Miss Deborah Okalski, elementary teacher. Miss Kathleen Bankoff, elementary teacher. Miss Anna Marie Demore Bialkowski. Miss Kathleen DePiri, special ed teacher. Miss Karen Duff. Oh, that stinks.
Student government.
What happened? Well, we have many other retirees. I'm hoping we can get to all of them at this point. Left off with Miss Duff. So Miss Brenda Foley, science teacher at Connecticut High School. Miss Carmela Gustafson, who actually spent this year as a virtual teacher. Miss Helen Kerensky, she's a music teacher at Cherokee. Miss Christine Latella Valenti, school counselor. That does say 46 years, Mark. Yeah. 46 years. I can't imagine that because I'm not even 46 years old. I'm sorry? Yeah, if we can read them off without the sound, that's fine. So Miss Donna McElhaney, school nurse. Miss Karen Phillips, elementary teacher at Duffield. Miss Maria Louise Bacon, she is an office assistant at John Pearl. Miss Cynthia Fernandez, office assistant at Connecticut High School. Miss Patrice Gibbons, office assistant, Connecticut High School. Miss Marianne Troiano, office assistant, Connecticut High School. Miss Marianne Williams, school attendance aide, central registration at Prem. Mr. Richard Junta, custodial worker, Connecticut High School. Mr. James Poggio, custodial worker, John Pearl Elementary School. Mr. Joseph Spano, maintenance mechanic, district-wide, buildings and grounds. Miss Marie DeBonis, bus driver, transportation. Mr. William Denise, bus driver, transportation. Miss Deborah Galligan, bus driver, transportation. Mr. Michael Longo, bus driver assistant, transportation. Miss Joanne Nagel-Meagle, bus driver, transportation. Mr. Stephen Romano, bus driver, transportation. Miss Linda Polk, bus driver, transportation. Miss Denise Santana, bus driver, transportation. Mr. George Saunders, school bus dispatcher, transportation. Miss Gillian Socher, bus driver, transportation. Mr. Joseph Troiano, bus driver, transportation. Miss Patricia Ferrandino, teaching assistant, high school. Miss Angela Ianello, teaching assistant, John Pearl Elementary School. Miss Julia Kaplan, teaching assistant, Oakdale Bohemia Middle School. Miss Suzette Linforte, teaching assistant, Cherokee Street Elementary School. Miss Peggy Lombardo, teaching assistant, Slocum Elementary School. Miss Mary Longatano, teaching assistant, Connecticut High School. Miss Sandra Lorenzo, teaching assistant, Connecticut High School. Miss Barbara Mackin, teaching assistant, Boston Elementary School. Miss Elise Malone, teaching assistant, Oakdale Bohemia Middle School. Miss Donna Manolio, teaching assistant, Duffield Elementary School. Miss Teresa McDermott, teaching assistant, Connecticut High School. Miss Diane Spengieri, teaching assistant, Boston Elementary School. Miss Camille Walensky, teaching assistant, Cherokee Street Elementary School. Miss Ann Gentile, school teacher aide at Slocum Elementary School. Miss Celestina Russo Langello, school teacher aide, Ronkonkoma Middle School. Miss Arlene Bachman, cook manager, Connecticut High School. Miss Nancy Rivera, food service worker, Ronkonkoma Middle School. Miss Kathleen Vella, food service, Connecticut High School. And at this time, I'd just like to thank them all for their dedicated service to the community and our students. Their service will certainly be missed. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Reza. The next item up would be recommended action personnel matters. Schedule 1. Wait a second. Right now we're going to, Schedule 1 is to approve as amended. Where did policy go? Oh, there. Okay. Policy for the code of conduct. I'm assuming that there was a committee put together? For this, Linda?
This is under the purview of Mrs. Santo, and there were no changes this year.
Yeah, there were no changes, but normally we do get to look at it before it gets put up.
It's up for 30 days for community input and Board of Education input. And then we will bring it back to the board for the second reading with any community input.
Okay, so because it's up to, all right, I understand what you're saying. So I need a motion and accept and a second. Lee, please mute. I need a motion and a second to accept the first reading of the 2021-2022 Code of Conduct Policy 5300.
Motion.
Motion.
I need a second.
Second.
I'm going to abstain. All in favor?
Aye.
Abstain.
Aye. Aye.
Which one is this?
It's the policy. I'm abstaining because the second
Aye.
vote for this will be after we're off the board, so I don't want to vote on it. Okay. Next is the recommended action personnel matters, Schedule 1 as amended. I need a motion and a second.
Motion.
Motion.
Second.
Okay, before I do an all in favor, I just have a question. How do we hire a teacher mentor? Does that go on OLAF or is that done internally? How does that?
That was an internal posting. It's a teacher, the teacher mentor is one of our teachers who's going to mentor all of the new teachers where we have over 100 new teachers.
Right, but, so what I'm saying is there a committee that gets to pick the new one?
Yes,
within
a
the
committee,
CTA
there was a whole
contract?
process.
Okay. And then I had another question, I think. I think that was it, the schedule one. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Next is a motion and a second to approve the personnel matters schedule 2, appointments, tenure, salary changes. Any motion and a second?
Motion. Motion.
Second.
Before we do an all in favor, I have questions. What is CAHS?
The alternative high school, or the Connect What Alternative High School, the day program.
Okay. Part-time driver messenger? What is that? To meet district needs? What is a driver messenger? What do they do?
If you give me 1 second.
Sure.
This is to move food around the district when we cook in certain places and move them to other places. That's what this position does.
How many driver messengers do we have? And it's to move food. I don't understand. Don't every school has its kitchen? What do you mean? It says to meet district needs, so I'm assuming this is a new position.
Eileen, this is not a new position. Ms. Macario is a temporary part-time driver. According to payroll papers, she took a leave of absence from being a permanent food service worker.
I didn't ask about the particular person.
I understand.
Yeah, okay, I just want to know the position.
Right, it's not new.
Okay, so then it should say replacing, not to meet district needs.
We're looking to change it from temporary to permanent for September, but right now it's temporary. And it is to meet district needs. It's not replacing anybody. We haven't had it, but we need it now.
To do what?
As Dr. Adams said, to continue to help with the food service around the district.
But I don't understand, that's what I'm asking. Can you explain what that means?
I can. So the product will come in from the government and a couple other places that we get our commodities from, and then the driver will distribute it to each of the 10 buildings. Depending on what the product is, it might go to a cook manager that's in the south, it might go to a cook manager that's in the north, but we need that person to be able to deliver many items, especially throughout different parts of the year, where maybe product is low.
They use a school district van or something? Like, how does this happen?
Yes,
Okay, and we've always had this happen?
yes.
But why is it just now it was temporary, now it's permanent? I don't understand. And I want to just understand what the position is that we're hiring for.
Is it full-time?
No, it says part-time.
Yeah, this is for the
Wait, let
next
me
school
answer
year.
one question at a time.
This is for the summer and the next school year, this position.
Okay.
Bridget, are we doing something like this? Are we expecting to do this next year? I'm under the assumption that we were looking to maybe bring back our regular lunch, like for these kids, rather than bag lunch that a lot of kids.
This isn't about bagged lunch, this is about product and
All
only
right, so the
product.
products, I understand what you're saying. Are we going to start though, taking that product and, like if it's delivered and start opening kitchens with it?
Oh, we don't know what the requirements will be for reopening schools as of September yet.
All right, I'll save that for board discussion, but we gotta discuss
Yeah,
that.
that's, write that down for your discussion. Thank you. Okay. And then, there's an increase, it's letter C. Increase from 4.25 hours to 6 hours. What's the reason for that?
This is the teaching assistant you're talking about?
Yes. Is that what, yeah.
I have the paperwork there. What's your name? Okay.
It's only an hour and 3/4. We can, I don't, just skip that one. All the proms, the senior banquet, the high school, well, Adventureland trip, that's, I'd like to pull that because that didn't happen. That's L. So I don't wanna pay, chaperones if we didn't have any.
Sure, so you want to amend and pull the high school Adventureland trip chaperones off?
Right, because we're approving them after the fact,
It's
anyway.
L.
and after the fact didn't happen. So it's L, only the first part of L,
Right,
Jesse.
only the first part of L.
But all these other, chaperones, all these events did not happen yet?
The senior banquet actually did happen already, but these were people that were added after we had a few that that dropped out of being able to
Well, it only
service
says
that
one
day.
dropped out. There's only one replacement on here and then a second one added for that event. So how many did we have last year? I mean, it just seems like there's a lot of chaperones for some of these things. Do we typically have, is this the same number as last year?
So there's actually a policy on how many, what the ratio
Okay,
is. And
thank
so
you.
we go by the policy of how many kids actually sign up.
Perfect answer, thank you. Okay, that's all my questions. So I need it all in,
Miss-
anybody else have any
Miss
questions?
Panico, you asked the question about the reason for the
Yeah, but
TA.
it's only an hour and 3/4, so I kind of dropped that one.
Okay,
Yeah, I'm not really worried about that. Anybody else have any questions? I do, I have one more. Drivers working as driver assistants? What does that mean?
that sometimes during the summertime or summer runs, drivers aren't driving their buses.
Oh.
They're gonna work as driver assistants. So we have to just approve them
Okay,
as such.
Mark, just. Just look at that.
What is that for? That's to approve them?
Yes. Do you want to pull that?
Yeah, we can't approve that.
Okay, so we need to pull, the 19A positions right now. And table those. We can't approve that yet? You got that, Jesse?
It's you, Jesse. The bottom
Oh,
three
thanks.
of you.
Right, just the 19A.
We're pulling this?
Mm-hmm.
Or tabling it.
We have to table it right now.
Yeah, wait till after next.
That they have a date.
This is for July 1.
Yeah, so we're gonna pull it to table it right now.
If you table it right now without another board meeting before July 13th, we're
We
approving
are
it
having another board meeting,
retroactively.
Mark, Reza, on the 17th.
With public session that can approve action?
We can go into public session to approve just that.
Okay.
It was supposed to be just an executive, but we can do a public for that. That will give us enough time, right?
The date's a Tuesday.
Huh?
We have to change the date.
And here's that day. So we'll know that night. Results, right? Okay. If not, we can approve.
Do you want to pull one of the names? Or do you want-
Yeah, that's probably what we should do, right? Just pull just one?
So is my assumption correct?
Yes.
Okay.
So just pull the one, Jesse, just the one for that, and we can approve the others. Okay, so I need a motion and a second. Actually, I'm gonna change the motion in a second for the Schedule 2 appointments, tenure, and salary changes as amended.
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you.
Aye.
Okay. I need a motion and a second to approve the financial matters items, numbers 2 through 8.
Motion.
Second,
Second.
any discussion?
No, I'm good.
No.
Okay. I need an all in favor.
Aye.
Aye.
I'm going to abstain because I didn't look through all the reports, so I'm abstaining. Okay, next is, hold on, I gotta get that part over here.
4, 5, 6, 18. 18, I got like 4, 5, 6.
Lee, can you mute yourself, please?
Lee, please mute. Okay. Board of Education resolution. I need a motion and a second to direct the superintendent of schools or his designee to direct the district's teaching staff to provide the superintendent or her designee with lesson plans and thereafter provide feedback regarding same where appropriate.
Motion.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
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 I need a motion and a second to discuss and approve items 2 through 47, excluding, we are tabling items 38, 40, 41, and 42. Okay. And we added item 47. So I need a motion and a second, and then we'll do questions. I need a motion and a second.
Motion.
Second,
Second.
okay, any, you think Mylin is in second? Any, questions or discussion? Lee, we'll start with you. Do you have any questions on the consent agenda?
I'm having a hard time understanding.
Do you have any questions on the consent agenda items?
No,
Okay, Mylin?
I'm trying to fill out the agenda now. Which items are you?
We're on the consent agenda. Do you want me to come back to you, Mylin?
I'm sorry?
Do you want me to come back to you?
Yes, please.
Okay, Jackie?
Good.
Okay, I have some, of course. Athletes helping athletes. I don't see this contract over here, Jesse, or I would have the answer. I'm going through it all. I'm sure it's in here, I just haven't found it yet. What is the cost of that?
I have it.
Yeah, I'm sure I have the contract here, I have to sign it, but,
The cost is $4,000.
okay, and that is to do what?
That is to run the organization in our school district from the company that organizes the Athletes Helping Athletes program.
Okay,
And it's training for our students so that when they go into the elementary schools, do their presentation.
okay, thank you. Number 8 is, internal auditor, number 9 is bond counsel. How come I don't see any bids? I only have one and we're just approving it? Lee, please mute. Right.
Both have been vendors of the district and providers of the district, so they're just extending their contracts.
Right, I understand that, but we have plenty of people that have been vendors and we've asked for 3 bids.
Okay.
So we didn't send these out?
These are professional services.
It doesn't matter.
I think, could you give me those numbers again one more time? I'm sorry, I apologize.
What numbers?
The ones that you're tabling?
Okay, the tabled items are,
Mylin, I just texted you that information.
okay,
Okay, great, thank you, Debbie.
You're
all
welcome.
right. So that didn't stop our bid policy of 3 bids. Professional services, we do all the time, we send out for bids.
We went for bids on these about 3 years ago, and you're allowed to extend their contract 3 times before you have to go out to a bid for another professional service. I think you can actually
What
extend.
you're allowed to do
a
and what the
fourth
board
year.
has asked is 2 different things. The board has asked for bids, for competitive bidding.
Okay. We had spoken about going out on various bids over time, and these weren't as part of the cycle. We can certainly go out for them.
They were
but-
not put out to bid the year before I got on this board. They were not put out to bid the year before. I've now been on the board for 3 years. They still have not been put out to bid.
I believe that Mrs. Donnelly put both of these out to bid in your first year here.
It wasn't my first year here that they were out to bid.
Okay, then I may be wrong. It may be the
I
fourth
think-
year.
Okay. But we did ask for 3 bids. So I'm gonna pull those for separate votes.
Why don't we just give it, do we have to have it tonight?
You have to.
I'm gonna pull them for separate vote. Mark, we won't get, by the time we get 3 bids. I'm gonna pull it for a separate
We
vote.
went through this, so we gotta get bids on everything. That's the only way we're gonna get a true price. Hello?
What are you pulling it, you pulling additional three for separate vote?
I'm pulling anything that doesn't have 3 bids. So 8 and 9 right now.
Even moving forward though, we need to get bids on all the jobs. We've said this over and over again. And now, I mean, it's one of the jobs on
And
there.
I specifically, we did say, well, professional services this year. Because as a matter of fact, Lisa, do you remember? Greg called me up freaking out about putting out the bid for the attorneys. Oh, okay. Right, so that's, I mean, we've asked for even for the attorneys. I don't know what you're talking about.
So we're taking 8 and 9 for a separate vote?
Yeah, that's all, Mylan. I'm sure it's gonna go through. I'm just taking it as a separate vote.
I'm sorry, I didn't understand you.
Yes, 8 and 9 for a separate vote.
Did you table the holiday? Look, it's in there.
What number, Jackie?
On the back, right there. 39, 40,
Yes, those are tabled.
on the table, right?
Yes. All right, there's a bunch on here now too. So that we're gonna pull for separate votes, Jess. Are you ready?
Yeah, I have to go off of just the paper because my iPad is
Okay,
acting up.
all right, hold on. So that's health and welfare services, flow through contracts, special education, BOCES. Bid award recommendation. What is this, BOCES cooperative, okay. Bid award for hardware, did we get 3 for the hardware? Specs, that's number 19. Yes, we did, no, we got 1 bid. I didn't get the tabs. Did we get 3 for that? Cause I only see Long Island Hardware and,
They only received 1. They sent it out to 67 vendors that were in the.
and only 1 came back?
And the reason why we're only getting 1 coming back though is because we're not letting them know that we sometimes take bidders and we take the higher bid. And I went over it last time. This is why people don't bid on some of the jobs. We're not getting a fair price sometimes.
I agree with.
We're definitely not. And I've actually heard from some contractors that they won't bid for ConnectWatt because ConnectWatt already has their vendors. And no matter what they do, even if they come in as the lowest responsible bidder, they don't get the job. So I have a problem with that.
Why don't we just pull what we're gonna pull?
Oh, I'm going through it, Jack.
All right.
So-
Microwave hardware?
No,
We're,
yeah, for a separate vote, yeah, I'm gonna say no. The rest of them, you have 20 is okay, 21 is okay, you had more than 1 bid. 22, you had more than 1 bid. I didn't look at these bids. 23, you had more than 1 bid. 24. 25, 26, 27. What is, and that's okay. Network hardware and software. Okay, bond phase 2 field bid rejection. What happened there?
When the pricing came back, it was more than was estimated. So instead of committing the district to a larger expense than was initially presented to the community, the architect hired him to be revisiting the scope of work and trying to get it back to the number that was initially approved by the community.
Okay. Fund reserves, please pull that for a second, for a separate vote. I didn't see the transfer of funds report, I'm sorry. So if you would pull that for a separate vote, number 36. The 38 is already pulled.
Yeah, that's a table.
Okay. What is this independent medical exam?
It was discussed that.
Okay, all right, I know what it is now. 38, 39 is pulled, 40 is pulled. 41 is okay, you're saying? No, 41 is pulled too.
40, 41.
41 and 42 is pulled, okay. 44, 43
43.
is what? That's another MOA.
Yeah, that is,
we've got the holiday one.
No.
No.
That's the one, we need to pull that first, I see it.
No, we can do it.
No, that's gonna be pulled for a separate vote.
No, it's not.
I'm pulling that for a separate vote, please.
It's not on the thing. We took it off.
No, It is, we took it off the Schedule 2, Schedule 1. It is on this one. It is on the consent agenda. 43 I'm speaking about right now. Oh, 43 is a separate vote. Where is, yeah, right here. That's what I'm looking for right now, Jeff. Okay, thank you. That's 47, Jackie.
Well, I want to vote on 47 before 43.
Okay. You see it? See what I circled? Okay. Thank you. This is all this capital work stuff here?
Yeah, I got the wording from Lisa today.
Okay. So I don't have the board docs open, but I want to just talk about those. We had all these things, that's these ones?
Those are the applications, and then the other ones are the contracts, they're both included in that application.
Okay, so in this resolution on 44, for the capital works, this was the bond that the community approved. For most of it is the libraries for the elementary schools, correct?
There's a mixture of work included. Yes, it includes the library for the elementary schools, but it also involves,
I understand it has other things, but it does include the libraries for the elementary schools.
they are part of these plans.
Okay, and then we had a brief discussion at one of the meetings, and then we moved off because it was not on topic. With the pandemic and the spacing and the social distancing, and then we brought up, I think Mark, it may have been you or me,
Probably me.
brought up how the libraries are used by the elementary kids in a normal school year twice a week. One of the periods like 20 minutes by the time they get down there, get back. It's about 20 minutes. With the pandemic, we had all these spacing issues. I brought up that we should probably think about holding off on this particular work until we are sure that we don't need the room. Instead of having to spend more money and rent trailers, or maybe having to use the money for capital improvements to make more space. So I want to pull this for a separate vote, because at this time, just to hold for now and not do those libraries until we know that we don't need that space for other things. So there's no discussion, John. It's simply a vote to put it.
John, I would like for John to stand at the podium because I have questions.
Okay, we can certainly do that. It's going to be pulled for a separate vote. So go ahead, ask your questions, Mylene.
So John, you know that I have been a big advocate for elementary libraries. I think it's critical and important to update those spaces, make it aligned with 21st century learning. I don't need to go in. I think you know clearly how I feel about the elementary libraries getting done, and I'm thrilled that it was included in the project and approved by the public. So John, my question to you is, because I have complete faith in you on scheduling these things, knowing proactively when you can align and have these work orders take place. I am relying on you, John, to tell me when you think it's sufficient time to start those projects.
I mean, Mylan, I don't think I have a very clean, easy answer for you. I can tell you how the libraries have been used in the past year and how we were able to navigate during the course of the year, using the library in different manners than they've been used historically, but still utilizing them. And knowing that even if we do the renovations, that we will be able to utilize them in the future as we need to as well. So
I want to clarify what I was saying, Mylene, because I think your response sounded a little defensive. So I want to clarify that I'm not saying not to do it. I'm saying that hold off on it right now in case we need to do a capital improvement project that may include.
I understand where you're coming from, but I want to hear from John,
Well, he just.
who is our capital project manager, who's overseeing all of this work done. I want to hear from John.
Well, he just told you.
It's acceptable to start this work.
He just said.
Depending on John and his expertise.
Just go ahead, so not here.
What he thinks is suitable for that work. to
Oh,
start.
okay. All right.
I think it's doable to do the work this summer. My biggest concern is we have already awarded this. We've already had the contractors begin. They've already started doing their specifications. And this impacts areas, not just the library, with heating and ventilation. So there are half a dozen spaces at Cherokee, for example, that are near and about the library that will get an improved heating and ventilation system, which was one of the reasons why we pushed forward with the work, because COVID or not, having proper and better ventilation was important.
So, Lisa, John just said something. He said we approved the contracts, but I have them all right here.
So we
So-
approved the bids.
The bids. So now we're approving the contracts. Now, that's what this is about.
Correct. And my understanding, and I apologize if I'm wrong.
That's why I didn't sign them the last time, because we never approved none of the board members saw these contracts before tonight.
don't
So I
think-
cannot sign things that that I'm the only board member that saw it.
Okay.
So,
I don't know if it's.
I don't
something
know
you
if
wanna
that's-
comment, or I can talk to my interpretation of it.
So you're saying you awarded?
no, I want to hear from you, Lisa. Yes.
I just
We-
want to confirm with John.
Yep.
That you awarded the contract essentially, you approved
The
The
bids.
bid.
to these individuals, and so I drafted a resolution. I drafted a resolution essentially authorizing you as the board president to sign the contract in connection with the bid approval.
Okay.
So.
But how come it's done that way? I mean, normally we would have looked at the other board members would have seen the contracts. I don't just sign it on my own. That was my problem with this last time. These contracts were never here. We approved bids, but we didn't approve contracts.
I mean, typically the contract is connected to the bid awards, is that information that's shared with the board, if the board wants to look at that information.
I never saw this contract before though. Okay, all right. Okay, so, all right, so at this time, we're just gonna pull that for a separate vote. And if the board, moves forward with that resolution, then those can be signed tonight.
So John, is any of that library work going to be started over the summer?
There are 4 buildings, 4 elementary schools that are in question right now with contracts that need to be signed. They are for Cherokee, Slocum, Boston, and Idle
Jackie?
And that does involve the libraries, and all of that work is scheduled to be done this summer.
Look at the facilities use. Are all those okay?
Well, I'm
Yeah,
very
I see it.
excited. I think this is going to be such a beautiful thing for our students and our staff. I think it'd be very exciting for them to come back in September with a whole fresh new year and some added beautiful improvements to the building.
Okay, thank you. So we're gonna move on. Thanks, John. 46 is okay, and then 47 is the other one. So,
And 47, you're calling for a separate vote?
yes, that's gonna be also. So we are going to approve items. Can you give me that list now?
Yeah.
I have a question about the funding letter.
Go ahead.
Am I allowed to?
Yep, you're up now. It's your turn, yes.
So why are we setting aside over $16 million? What do you get?
Yep.
$16,688,251, for the fund, reserve. That's quite significant. I've been on this board finishing my 7th year now. I've never, ever seen it this high.
I did, Mylin, just so you know, I did pull that for a separate vote for those reasons.
So I understand,
Yes.
I want to ask my question.
Yep, I appreciate it.
So who's gonna answer my question on this? This is significant.
Bridget's going to answer your question on it. So we're going to, the resolution says not to exceed. So that it's never going to be funded to this amount. I put the maximum amount possible. It includes the respective cap plus the appropriated for the following year. So I have a chart, and the way that it goes is it's the balance at June 30th, 2020. It's what we appropriated for 2021, the balance for what we anticipate for 6/30/21, the appropriation for 21-22, and then the cap depending on. So for workers' comp, the cap is 6 million. So all of that is totaled in together. It does not mean that we're going to do that by any means. We're going to evaluate on a reserve by reserve basis, but the resolution states not to exceed just for that alone. So
But
now
Bridget, do we normally, just to follow up with Mylin's question, normally we don't give carte blanche to
it's not carte blanche.
fund it up to the total amounts, the biggest amounts that you
I'm
can.
not
Neither am I. It's a huge amount of money.
This is step one of two, so this won't happen until October with the actual amounts after we are audited and the audit is complete.
I completely understand what you're saying, but I'd rather have more true to aligned numbers
Yeah.
than having some $16 million or $17 million up towards, set aside for, to be used for reserve. I'm sorry.
I
I understand the importance of having these reserves. I've seen it go from 7, 8, 9, 15, $17 million.
Well, no, we funded This is, yeah, it is very high. I've never seen it this high.
I understand what you're saying, but every school district has to have this resolution passed by June 30th. Otherwise, you cannot fund reserve.
Well, then the numbers should have been more aligned, like Marlene's saying. If you want things passed, that's our fiduciary responsibility. We can't, I mean, it's
This
gonna be
is
pulled
just-
for a separate vote.
This is just to allow the board, when we get the financial statements closed, after the books are closed, to then fund what is left over in the budget. This is just the maximum that could ever be put in there. And it never goes to the maximum because we never have
We
this kind
never
of money
approved
left
$16
over.
million in the,
Linda, I understand, I completely understand, Linda. I'm just telling you, I am very uncomfortable with $17 million upwards of putting into the reserve. An individual reserve, I get it. I'm just, there's something about it that's not feeling right with me, and in this context, I can't agree with it.
This is not to put in the reserve. This is just to allow you to fund it to that max if you had that money left over, which we will not have this kind of money left over. And then in October, you vote again.
The optics on this, doesn't look favorable. I agree with that.
yeah, I don't think it's gonna, okay. Well, let's pull for a separate vote. Marlene, thank you. Do you have other questions?
No, you touched on a few of them that already, and the library, and this particular one was, what I had questions on.
All right, thank you. So that one is in here, right? So we are going to approve the consent agenda excluding these items, excluding item number 8, 9, 19, 35, 36, 38, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, and 47. Those are, no, well, some of them are pulled for a separate vote and 4 of them are tabled.
No, those are all
No, you have the tabled ones here too.
40, 41, 42.
Yeah,
Oh, I was.
yes, they're excluded. So those are tabled. So all those, except for those items that I just read, I need a motion and a second.
Motion.
Oh, we already had the motion and a second, right? Okay, so I need all in favor? Aye. Now for separate votes. Thank you. The tabled items are 38, 40, 41, 42. I'm gonna go backwards because I'm in the back here. So we're gonna start with number 47. Did everybody get number 47? That was the add-on? Mylene and Lee?
Ask Mylene and Lee, did you get number 47?
Yes, I say yes. I say yes.
Okay.
We need a motion and a second for
I
that.
need a motion and a second for item number 47 on the consent agenda.
Do you know what it is, Lee?
Number 47.
Second,
All in favor?
Aye.
yes, aye, yes.
I'm abstaining.
I'm no.
So 3 went through. Okay? Number 44, who's got the background TV on? Mylene or Lee? Okay. Number 4, thank you. Number 44 is the resolution from legal for the president's signature on all the capital work. I need a motion and a second.
Motion.
Second.
Second,
Okay, I need all in favor?
aye.
Aye.
No. Okay, number 43,
Whoa, did that pass or not?
it passed, Mylene, yes. Number 43, this is. I need a motion and a second.
Lead motion.
I need a second.
Second.
Second,
I need it all in favor?
aye.
Aye.
I'm gonna say no.
I'm gonna abstain only because I'm looking at, is this the one that we talked about?
This is this one.
It's a lot to give within 2 years it's a lot to give in 2 years when for 1 year we were actually out. So I'm gonna abstain from this actually. And I just feel like I'm trying to do what's right for the public, the community, not what's right for just a few people. We gotta do what's right for the community. It's a substantial amount to give, I feel.
Yes, and, I said no because I've run on top-heavy admin and not just giving away cash, and so I have to say no. I can't go back on what I said now. Okay, so now, it did pass, it went through anyway, yes. So that's, that passed, it went through in perpetuity, he gets that. Or that position does, or that, whatever that is. Okay, budget transfers. I need a motion and a second.
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 I'm abstaining. That's budget transfers. I didn't get to see the transfer, so I don't want to vote on something that I didn't see. Number 35, fund reserves, Mylene. Number 35, fund reserves. I need a motion and a second.
Can this be tabled until, Bridget can come back with something more aligned?
We do have a meeting on the 17th. We can table it until the 17th.
Yeah, let's table this one.
Okay, that one will be tabled as well. That was number 35. Tabled. Okay, number 19. Okay, well, we have to go through the business of the board first. We're getting there. Number 19 is a bid. I need a motion and a second.
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
No.
Aye.
Mark, you just said no, three. You said this is the three bids.
Oh, no.
Okay, so there's three went through anyway, Jesse. So it doesn't matter whether they do what they want to say. We're fired anyway, it doesn't matter. Number 9. Bond council bid, we didn't get the bids, and number 8. Okay, so number 9, motion and a second? For the bonds, there wasn't enough bids.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. Aye.
No? Mark?
No.
Jackie?
I'm trying to find my little cheat sheet that I have.
It's the bond council. I'm saying no because there wasn't enough bids. It wasn't sent out to bid. There's 2 yes votes and 2 no's. You're in, Jackie.
I'm pretty sure it was a yes for me.
Okay,
Just look,
that's fine.
what's the number?
9. Number 9 and then number 8 will be next.
This isn't the library, is it?
No, that already went through.
Okay, it said yes to the library.
I'm gonna say yes, but in the future, I do want,
You keep saying that.
no,
Just record that. because-
I do
You say it
want,
a lot.
this is the last yes I'm saying without three, because we said,
Yeah,
we said it. I respect what they're saying. We've said it. We should do that.
3
People
years.
should not automatically think that because we're Connect What, friends and whoever else are taking jobs, we should make sure we get 3 bids. If we do not get 3 bids, I will abstain from every vote going forward. It has to do with bidding. So you heard it here, it's on the record. We do not get 3 bids, I
We
will
don't have to
abstain,
put
because
3.
there's no reason, it may still go through, but I will still abstain.
am I right?
Because we have to do the right thing.
Okay,
But I'm a yes
so
right
that went
now.
through, Jess. Number 8, same thing. I need a motion and a second. That's the, we didn't get the bids for the auditors. Second, I need a second.
Second.
All in favor? And again, I'm gonna say no.
No.
Yes. Yes.
It's just another
It's
bid.
just the other bids. We didn't get the bids.
So I'm gonna say yes, to these, I want to.
Okay.
Get this
Done.
done, but in-
All right, Jesse, you got that? Here's your cheat sheet back.
Oh, thank you.
You don't have 3 on it, it's only an
Oh, you got it? Okay.
You'll need to vote.
Yeah, so the,
I'm not putting it through.
Right.
I've asked, I want it on record.
okay. So now we're up to, where am I here? Okay, consent agenda.
The district's-wide safety plan presented by Mr. Flynn
I don't have it on here.
Yeah, it's a public hearing.
and
Independent middle. Hold on, I'm getting there. I don't see it on here. Okay. Jess, where is it on my? Public hearing, okay, there we are. It's not on the cheat sheet. All right, public hearing, discussion, information, presentation for the public hearing of the district-wide safety plan. Don Flynn, Director of Security, is up to the podium. Don Flynn, come on down. You're the next contestant on.
And then we'll do public comment and we'll do board.
We're gonna go,
No, board discussion after public comment.
okay, we can do that.
Public speak first, I can speak after.
Okay, good, because I'm moving. That's fine. Yeah, then we will do that, yes.
I'll be a while, so I'd rather you guys go first. And you can lead in.
I'll be home. I'll be home while Jackie's talking. Go ahead, Don, you're up. Thank you.
I'll be brief. Good evening. This is the annual presentation, very, very brief of we're ahead of the game. Superintendent is, we actually usually do this in July. I'll give superintendent credit and as well as our 20-something members of our district-wide safety team, Jackie being a part of that also. We met last virtually, some of us together last Friday, to review approximately 45-page document. And just to give a little detail as to what this is all about. The district-wide safety plan, different than the building level safety plans. The building level safety plans are confidential in nature and a lot more granular. District-wide safety plan is globally as far as what the district does as far as safety, security, prevention of violence, social and emotional well-being. Gail Santo has a part in this, and it's a well-rounded approach. What we have taken a position in the last couple of years is to remove specifics which detail some of how we respond to annexes such as kidnappings and things of that nature. Also, you may also remember a couple of months ago, Mr. Kolahifa presented a piece which was an addition, something that had come down from the state, and in March or April, the board adopted that, and that was in addition to the pandemic plan. We always had a piece in there, but the addition that was added into it was very substantial. We continue to look at the plans, although it has a 30-day adoption period starting tonight, and 30-day public comment period. So we'll be back approximately 30 days from now. And I would anticipate between now and then, we're going to, we continue to look at it. The team members continue to look at it. And as with our building level plans, I keep using the term fluid. They are fluid, so they will continue to change. And to give an example of that, I'll just be today. And again, I got to thank the superintendent because we've had some conversations. We're going to talk in the future about adding a piece in there. Again, going back to the social and emotional well-being of our students. I got to thank the Suffolk County Police Commissioner, Stu Cameron, and Vin Moronsky, who's the inspector from Homeland Security. I had a meeting today with human trafficking, and it's not what we may think. And the commanding officer of human trafficking, Frank Mazzano, and his sergeant were very enthused about possibly getting together with the Connecticut School District to talk about the dangers that some of our students, both at the high school and the middle school level, some of our young ladies are facing. So we're looking forward to, and the superintendent had made a recommendation that possibly in September, Superintendent's Conference Day, doing a training for all staff, but then doing we spoke today about doing a longer staff training for our psychologists, our social workers, YFS, as well as security personnel. So I can't thank them enough. Would be a little bit of an aberration in getting involved in this, but there's a lot of scary things that are happening. So that's just one example of how the plan continues to evolve. So with that, I don't know if there's any particular questions. It's a very brief overview of a very detailed plan.
Excellent, and I'm so glad to hear they're gonna come in and talk to the kids because there's a lot of bad things going on that a lot of people do not realize is right in our backyards. Right in our backyards, Kids are being taken, they're being drugged, they're being, taken to hotels, and bad things are happening. So I appreciate what you guys are doing, and I appreciate what Suffolk is doing.
Absolutely.
Mr. Flynn, can you just present the email?
Thank you, Kim. I'm glad that this was a topic that's going to be brought to our children, a very, very concerning topic. I'm glad it's going to be brought to your attention. And by the way, speaking of other concerning topics, now that you brought that one up, I'd like to somehow address, probably not in your wheelhouse, but maybe Linda, the safety of bikes. I am seeing more and more children in our streets popping wheelies and have very little disregard for cars and.
Mylin, I'm gonna ask that you hold that for the board discussion part. Mylin?
Our children, if we could do some kind of lesson before school is over, I know it's only a few weeks.
This is not the time.
One day, maybe half an hour presentation, please, please, please.
Mylin,
Now, Jackie, please.
I'm not to cut you off, I just want to tell you. Hold on.
My oldest son was hit by a van. He was 14 years old. Thank God he was okay. He was not wearing a helmet. And the worst feeling for any parent is have to go to the hospital and see your son's head cut open. And that was to just put in your child's head. And you don't know if there's any brain damage done, you don't know anything until all those tests are coming back. So please, I can't stress it enough.
I'm just gonna tell it then.
Bike safety, please, please, please. Can someone address
Mylin, just so you know, so you're aware, at the district safety meeting about, was it 2 months ago? About 2 months ago, Don did go over that. We brought it to his attention. Me and Linda were actually at central office when we zoomed in together for the safety meeting, and it was brought to his attention. And we did discuss bringing in different ideas of safety town and a couple other ideas for middle school or elementary to try to get the kids aware of the dangers. But we can go over that during discussions more, and I have actually notes on that I could show you.
So the district-wide emergency plan will be posted on our website, and a specific email address has been created for that. Mr. Flynn, do you want to tell the community about that?
So there's a separate email address where during the 30-day public comment period, if anybody has any questions or recommendations, which we're always open to, you can send your email in and it'll come right to the committee's attention. We routinely speak, and again, questions, comments, suggestions, we're open in the next 30 days, and actually even after the next 30 days, we're always open for suggestions. So there's a separate email that was set up by the superintendent's office to comment on that.
Thank you, Don.
Thank you, Don.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jackie, for being on the committee as well. Okay, the next item up, we're going to go out of order, if that's okay with the board. We're going to allow, well, I need 3 people. So I say yes, you say yes, Mark says yes, we're good. So instead of doing new business discussion items by the board, we're going to have public comments. Please, you will hear this noise. That means that you have about 30 seconds left. There's a lot of people here tonight. We want to make sure that we get to all of you. So please, when you hear this noise, wrap it up. Okay, yeah, Linda, we can say that now. It's been approved, right? The athletic director went through.
Yes, the MOA between the district and the CPDA in regards to the athletic director has been approved by the board this
Right,
evening.
so Mr. Mallory is still our athletic director.
Yes, he is still we did not accept his resignation. His resignation was tabled, and the MOA between the CPDA and the district was approved this evening.
Right, so if you're coming down here to advocate for him, it's already done. He's back on there. And then that's it, right? Okay, so public comment, please come up to the podium. You have 3 minutes. There will be a timer over there, and again, at the 30-second mark, you'll hear that. Whoever gets up there first. Jesse, will you start the timer, please, when you begin speaking? Thank you.
Hi, my name's Christine Hansen. How are you? Everybody see me?
Hello.
Want to quickly touch on a couple things. Okay, sorry. Hello. A couple of things. One, regarding the seniors. The banquet was great. They got to all get together for a change. It was awesome. My question is now with prom, I know they said they were separating it into separate rooms. I also wanted to know questions about graduation. I know that they were worrying about the numbers and the count. You only allowed so many students, otherwise you have to get tested and so forth and so on. I'd like to know why there was a survey sent out asking us what we would do. Would we be willing to all be tested or not? And we all answered because all of the parents want our children to graduate together. They've earned it, they deserve it, and it should happen. This field is enormous. There's plenty of room to fit the 500 students, well, 400 and change on the field, and the 2 guests that you're allowing per child to sit in the stands or whatever. There should be no reason why that cannot happen.
Linda, do you want to address that, please?
So we did send out a survey a while back, and on that survey, 356 families out of the 446 seniors said that they would allow their child to be tested and or provide either a vaccination or a PCR result within 72 hours or a rapid test within 6 hours of the event. That means that 90 families have said no, that they will not provide that documentation. So in order to allow all of our kids to have the day to graduate, we have to remain under 500 if we're not going to be able to have all of our families submit to the verification of testing and or vaccination. That was something that the team discussed. We do want every child to be able to walk across the stage. And in order to do that, we would have to stay under 500 guests. The guidance changed between April 7th and April 14th, I believe, or April 27th, I'm sorry, was the latest guidance. In order to allow every child to be part of the ceremony, we are only allowed to have 500 guests. The children are not considered part of that 500. Originally, the students were part of that 500, which would have meant we needed 4 to 5 ceremonies to get everybody in without having to do the burden of testing. So in order to do that, and also to alleviate the sometimes questionable results of some of our rapid tests, which come back either false negative or false positive sometimes, if we have a false positive of a senior and they were within 14 or 15 or 20 friends within the last 48 hours, we could potentially have 20 to 25 kids who, because of false positive, wouldn't be able to walk that day, and it wouldn't give us time to get a PCR in 72 hours to make sure that they weren't sick. So in order to not have that kind of event happen and have some of our kids be excluded erroneously, we thought staying under the 500, which is the gathering limit currently, where you don't have to test, that's what we would be doing.
So you said the students are counted separately?
Correct.
Okay, so if there's under 500 students, either way, they should not have been tested then, if that's what you're saying, if they're counted separately.
It's the same event. So the students are separate, but so the students can be there. We can have the students without the parents and not have to test. The second that we start to put parents or spectators above 500, we would have to test.
So why can't the parents be tested? Because then I know for a fact all the parents, as long as our kids can graduate together, I would be willing to take a test. And you know what? God forbid, okay, mine comes back, I can't go to the graduation. At least they're gonna give everybody an opportunity. These children should graduate together.
I know you're saying everybody would, but only 356 out of 446 said yes.
That's more than half. That's crazy. There's more than that. And
that's a quarter, a little less than a quarter of the class that said that they would not provide data to have the testing or the vaccination or within 90 days.
Less than a quarter said no.
90 families.
Okay.
What was your acceptable amount?
Yeah,
There is no acceptable amount.
If 2 people said no, then
that would have been it. You. Okay. That's fine. If they want. But this is there has to be a way to figure this out for these kids. And the thing is, you're outside, you're outdoors, and it's not like we're even together.
You're absolutely
The
preaching to
students
the
are in
choir.
one section, and the parents are in another. It's like 2 separate
That's correct. It's the
Events.
spectators. It's the spectators that count. So the moment we go over 500 spectators, we have to test or proof of vaccination. Please write to Governor Cuomo. I believe outside
Trust me,
there should be no
calling and
limit
writing
at this point.
constantly.
But right now we have to go with the guidelines that are given to us.
Okay, and the other thing is the emails that we get, it's, okay, you can do this. Then the next day, nope, we changed your mind, you could do that. You get these kids all excited that, oh, they don't have to wear masks or anything anymore to go to school. And then you get another thing saying, oh, now you have to wear masks. Everything is done so uncoordinated and it's ridiculous. It's
So-
absolutely ridiculous.
So the email that came out on Friday reported what Governor Cuomo stated at his press conference, which was that the New York State Department of Health was going to, as of Monday, if they hadn't heard back from the CDC, move forward with no masks inside. That was the report that I made to the community. On Sunday at 1:37, we received an email from the New York State Department of Education that said, you can't move forward with anything until you have a changed executive order. I'm just reporting what's happening in the community, not what's happening in the state. So that was the emails that we received. And so we let the community know that as soon as we possibly could.
Okay. Now, how are you working with prom with these seniors? Are you doing the testing here? Do they have to get testing outside? Because I know last time there was also a miscommunication with the whole banquet because people made schedules at like 8, 9 o'clock in the morning for their kids to get tested. And then you get told, oh, nope, it has to be within 6 hours. So the people that made these appointments in the morning were now scurrying to try and find appointments to do later. So you're in that time window.
So that guidance has never changed. It's 72 hours of PCR within 72 hours of the event or within 6 hours of the event for your rapid test. That guidance has been in place for about 2 months now.
Are you offering the testing at the school?
Mr. Moran was here earlier. I think that it was set up. Is Mr. Moran still in the? I have to speak with the high school principal because he was setting those up.
Okay, and how soon would you let the parents know if that's a possibility or not?
That would be through Mr. Moran's office, so I will make sure that he communicates with you folks as soon as possible.
Thank you very much.
Starting sentence. I just want to know, Ms. Adams, a couple of meetings ago, you said at the meeting, which I had attended, that you weren't going to go against the guidelines. But if the Board of Ed and the people wanted to go against the guidelines, we'd have to set out a vote because you didn't want to go against the state. Okay, so this is Connect Quad. We're not the state. Cuomo isn't in our school running our schools. We think that it is up to the students and the parents who want to have our kids graduate together. We can have another vote on it. You didn't want to go against it. We want to go against it. Cuomo's not in here running our school, okay? Our kids were told that they were to be able to be maskless on Monday, then you take it away from them. Cuomo's not in this school seeing what everybody's doing. The people who want to wear masks, let them wear masks. The children who don't want to wear masks, I don't feel comfortable with my son wearing a mask. My son has had severe anxiety. I am going through hell with one of my sons, okay? I am shaking. I am so pissed off about this whole thing, the lack of communication that you guys express to this community is zero, unless it pertains to one specific item. It's not a broad thing. I hardly ever get any robocalls or emails about anything unless Sunday night at 11 o'clock at night, oh no, you have to wear masks. It's ridiculous. You guys need to get your communication skills together. These people need to have all of our children graduate together on one field. We can all vote on it. We could do whatever, but I think it's up to us as a community of what we want to do. And if we want to wear the masks or not. If the parents choose to wear a mask, send your child to school with a mask. We'll set them in the corner, whatever, but they need air. They need the windows open. They need things to, my son hasn't been on lockdown since March of 2020. He's been out riding his bike with his friends, knock on wood. He's had the PCR test twice now because he had procedures done, and he's fine. The kids need to be exposed to whatever. And I'm advocating for my son to graduate with the rest of his classmates.
Hi, thank you for, am I taking your place? Okay, all right. Thank you for just allowing us to come up here. I just have a quick question because we were here, there's a bunch of coaches here that were coming in regards to Pete Mallory. We were just questioning, is he definitely staying or there was just a proposal made?
It was not approved,
Okay,
and we made a separate contract. So he is, from what I understand, accepting of that separate contract that we made with him.
okay. So before we leave, because, you know, we had a petition that about 80 of us have signed. Is it worth it to even
No,
share it?
No.
No.
it's already done, but
Okay.
the way you do a petition
Mhm.
is there's a special way of doing it, and you have to call the district clerk, and she'll give you the guidelines. Just start writing up a petition like that doesn't meet the guidelines that we have for our policies.
Okay,
So
okay.
that, you know, the online petitions, we don't accept any of those online petitions,
Okay,
you know, any of those things, because it's not our regulations. We have a set petition policy. I did write that out. I think it was on your group about the policy, the petitions. I think so. So yeah, it doesn't matter at this point anyway.
okay. So as of right now, Pete Mallory is still the athletic
I mean,
director.
hold on to it. You want to give it to the district clerk? You're more than welcome to give it to her.
I'm gonna hand this to
You
her?
don't need to, yeah.
Okay, well, I'll hand it to
Yeah.
you just because we have.
Perfect, yeah. Thank you. You're up, Diva.
Pardon, Miss Kennedy left. She had to exit the meeting, so she's
Okay.
no longer with us.
That's quiet.
All right. Good evening. Anybody who knows me knows I'd rather be tap dancing than public speaking, but it's all good. I'm not good at this, but either way, Dr. Adams, I would like to thank you for finally deciding to stand by our students and penning a letter to the governor on our behalf. However, there is a little bit of, I'm a little concerned about the small statement about prolonged mask breaks. I think in that portion of your letter, I think parents would have liked to see more of a statement such as, with just 14 school days left, we are hopeful that our students can conclude what has been a most challenging year by allowing them and their parents the permanent choice of whether to mask or unmask, both indoors and outdoors. So what is the actual meaning of prolonged mask breaks? Are you saying that you're asking to permanently be unmasked or just longer in school? 10 minutes versus 5 minutes. What exactly does that mean?
Are you speaking about the letter to the governor that the Board of Education approved last night?
Yes.
I read a statement last night about how excited I was that I thought we were moving toward the safe zone. When we heard from the New York State Department of Health that they felt we were in the safe zone enough to petition the CDC to remove the masks indoors. If we are safe enough that the New York State Department of Health felt that they should be moving forward that way, then they should move forward that way. Unfortunately, this is not as a local school district, in our control. We must obey the regulations that are written down in executive order, that it's statute for us. So we are asking that if the New York State Department of Health truly felt that we were safe enough that they petitioned the CDC, then they should move forward. They are not under the guidelines of it's not a statute from the CDC to the New York State Department of Health. New York State Department of Health makes regulations for New York State. So we are asking for them to move forward with that.
Okay. Another thing I wanted to ask about, I don't know if this was addressed previously in regards to graduation. And I know there's the 500 limit, which if you are under that, then you don't need to worry about testing. However, is there anywhere in these guidelines that anybody can find that actually discusses the square footage of the outdoor location? In other words, shouldn't a guideline, I mean, we say follow the science, shouldn't we follow math? 1 acre maybe allows 200, so 2 acres allows 400. So being that our high school field is so big, is there anything in those guidelines that states square footage in relation to the amount of people that you can have outside?
So that's a great question that actually Mrs. Napolitano-Ferno and I was speaking about last night prior to the board meeting, and I'm going to ask the legal counsel to look through the guidance that has been provided and see what the definition of an outdoor event is, because you're absolutely correct. You know, a field that is the size of a soccer field versus a field that's the size of our whole backgrounds, that should be different amounts of people. I agree with you. So I'm going to ask legal guidance to give us something in writing as to what that definition actually is.
Okay, all right, thank you. The last thing that I wanted to discuss is, which we heard last night, and I understand that in regards to the district board of ed administration and repercussions if you go against the governor. We also heard very troubling words from Governor Cuomo yesterday, and I see I'm running out of time, so I will not.
You're good, you got a minute.
I have a minute? Okay.
Over.
I was going to actually repeat exactly what he said. I might have to paraphrase. Also for schools, they should now be vaccinating 12 to 17-year-olds. They are in school. They are there now. You have them in one place. They're a captive audience, so to speak. You have a nurse in the school, or you have a local government that can send a vaccination team to the school. We're closing vaccination sites. We deploy them to the school. Get them vaccinated now. Parental permission slip and then vaccinate the child. Once summer vacation happens, they're gone. They go home, they're in the neighborhood, they go on vacation, they go to camp, who knows where they go. But you have them right now in the building. And you want to start this new school year in September with a clean slate. Get them vaccinated now. Then he goes on to talk about how Connecticut made a Ferris Bueller's Day Off, that the kids, if they're vaccinated, they wind up getting a day off. They get a prize. So he's telling people to get creative. We all know that Governor Cuomo has very arbitrary rules. What he does, nothing follows science, nothing follows math. None of it makes sense. So in that sense, I want to be ensured that should this man, if I can call him that, should he, my mouth is getting dry, forgive me. Should he actually attempt to mandate a non-FDA approved vaccine for children, and he tries to put that on all of you to do that, and I do not want to hear that somebody is too afraid for their own position, because these are our children. They're not lab rats. They are not supposed to be doing this. They are our children, my body, my choice, my child, and my rights. And as a taxpayer in this community, I want to make sure that the people that are with my child for 6 hours a day, my kid can walk through that door and not have a shot put in their arm. Because Governor Cuomo says that's what needs to be done. So I want to make sure that that is clear. I can be loud now, but I'll be even louder then.
So I have to tell you that for the last 3 to 4 months, school districts have been petitioned by the powers that be to host clinics in their schools. You will notice that there's none here, and there won't be any here. Because the truth of the matter is that the parents deserve the right to take their children to their medical facilities and allow the discussion to be between the families and the doctors as to whether and when children should be immunized with an experimental drug, with an experimental immunization vaccine. We've been petitioned for months, and I will never have it here because it is a parent's right to take their child to their medical professional.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Jackie.
Okay, thank you.
Jackie was on. Hi, how you doing? Just remember when you hear the sound?
Yeah,
30 seconds.
that's okay.
You can say your name.
Yeah, good.
Just say whatever you want.
Good. Yeah, so my name is Alex Piccirillo. I'm the Sachem Board of Education President.
Hi, Alex.
Hey, so we saw the letter on Friday, we saw the letter on Sunday. We decided that we were going to have an emergency meeting on Sunday, and we tried to take the masks off on Monday. The governor's pit bull, Dan Fuller, called us and threatened us that if we didn't put the masks back on, that they would have monetary fines, they would close the schools for in-person learning, they could suspend certifications. They threatened us all different ways. We have to find a way as neighbors and grab other school districts together to write one big letter or do more, a change.org petition, something, because we keep sending letters at individuals, we never get a response. I think they either throw them out or they have a big bonfire in the back of the state building up in Albany because they're not listening. They're never, ever listening.
Delete.
Yeah, they just delete everything. We have to come together as a county, as Long Island, and say, we need local control. We need our communities to make the best decisions for our kids. And like I said in the emergency meeting, and I know that Jackie said it the other night, but kids cannot be treated like political pawns.
Right.
And that's what this is a big game to him. at some point, we, you know, and I know that it's hard and the frustration and the fear that everybody feels, we all feel it. And I wish that we can, as school boards and even as administration, wave a magic wand and say, we're not going to listen. But if there's a monetary fine involved, that is going to negatively affect all of the kids. What are we going to cut? Sports? We're going to make classes bigger? When you cut, I mean, you guys are up here and you do a good job of making sure that you squeeze the quarter until the eagle screams and you watch every penny, and I appreciate that. But, you know, if they say they cut $1 million out of state aid next year, that could kill a school district. That could financially cripple somebody. So we have to do something as a group and maybe get together and grab everybody else. Yeah, that's good. I appreciate that. But yeah, we're here together. We have to find a way to join together and the superintendent's groups, we have to find a way to get maybe school board presidents groups or school board groups to write one big letter and say enough is enough. Secondly.
We'd be willing to bring that up to the board. We have one more meeting and then you'll have new board members, but
I will keep reaching out to Alex. Alex is a gem.
I know Anthony very well.
Thank you for all your wisdom and honestly, your guidance a lot.
My brother's been fighting. My brother's your Suffolk County legislator, at least part of your district also. We've been fighting. We've been petitioning the state, you know, the local DOH, but they keep saying it's up to the state DOH. And the way we saw it on Friday was the state DOH guideline is good enough for us. It says clearly that effective Monday, these will come into play.
Right.
So we tried.
We kind of saw that too, but we didn't have the emergency vote numbers that we needed.
Yeah.
Yeah, we needed 5.
And even with it, it was one day. It was one day that we got 1,000 thank you emails and everyone was very appreciative. And then we killed their dreams yesterday by writing another letter saying that you have to put your masks back on. But I actually took a personal day today from work and I went to the schools and I was the face. It was my fault. You know, we tried something, it didn't work. And just so the staff saw it and the kids saw it. And I walked around the halls and I had my mask on and I said hello to everybody and we tried to have the best day that we possibly could. But in my other role, I just wanted to say thank you because I had an opportunity to work for Pete. I'm the boys varsity basketball coach at Ward Melville as well. And I worked for Pete for 4 years and he is incredible. He's supportive. He wants what's best. And I think that you guys have a really, really good guy with you. And what you did tonight, I think as a group, shows your support for him and what you want out of the athletic program. So I just wanted to say thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Alex. And honestly, what you guys did at Sachem, I commend you because and honestly, I commend you because you know what? Even though you only got one day out of it, at least your district and your community knows you're not afraid to go to the mat for those kids. And for that, I really do.
Thank you, guys. Thank you, Mylon.
Oh, great. All right, just remember when you hear the sound, I have to cut you off. You have 30 seconds to wrap it up.
I really have to go, but I think I made a mistake in the vote.
said she left.
Okay, what was
Can
the,
I go back for 1 second?
lady, the votes are done.
She's gotta wait.
The votes are done. We're at public portion now. The voting is done.
No, this is something earlier. I don't think I.
She's gotta.
But the votes already went through, Lee. Lee, we're at public portion right now. The voting is done. It's everything that's been approved, everything went through. Everything went through.
Okay, so you're telling me I can't ask the question?
We're at public portion right now. You could wait until when it's the board's turn again. But right now we have a person up at the microphone ready to speak.
Ed Boss.
Go ahead, you're up.
Hi, I'm a student at Connecticut High School.
Hi.
I was just gonna try to loop back around to graduation. There's something I'm not entirely clear on. Do you mind just clarifying again the numbers of people who would like to go to not like to go and with the whole grade?
So there are 446 students and 356 families said that they would allow their students to be tested or provide the vaccination, and 90 families said that they wouldn't.
Okay, so the 90 families, that means that they are for the split graduation then, correct?
I don't know what they're for, to be honest. All I know is that they said that they would not provide that information that we needed.
So Linda, they might not even show up, those 90 families then. So we're penalizing 4/5 for 1/5. Okay,
Finish,
right,
only
go ahead,
because
finish yours.
because when we
All right.
get to public, we're gonna speak. Go ahead.
Okay, yeah, I was just trying to think out the logic through that.
Yeah.
Would it be impossible to just have the majority of the 300 families all graduate together and those
Yeah.
in the 90 families go on their separate day if that's what they're gonna want anyway, to have the split, grade?
So I'm really hoping,
Great.
to be honest with you,
Common sense.
we've seen all over Long Island that the facilities that host weddings and the like, the catering facilities, have actually sent out emails and messages to brides-to-be and folks who are having larger parties that they've heard as of June 15th, the outdoor gathering limit will be abolished. It is my fervent hope that that happens. That would mean we can have one graduation ceremony and no one needs to provide this information and the vaccination cards and all that kind of artifacts. We have now asked, and I'm sorry, Mrs. Napolitano and I were supposed to, Jackie and I were supposed to talk about this last night with our legal counsel and we got sidetracked and forgot. So now we will get that information to see if there's a square footage rule within which we have to do that 500 because potentially it might be bigger. So we're trying to work toward getting one ceremony. That has always been our hope. But we have these guidelines that we have to deal with, and we're hoping that we get different answers and we can do it a little bit creatively.
I'm just gonna tell them what, I spoke to the council and we're working on some creative ideas. If you made the high school, back of the high school 2 arenas and renamed it to different graduations. This is graduation A, this is graduation B. Could you have the kids in the stands and graduation A and B separated by a fence? A fence that if I have to go out there and roll it myself to put it out there, we'll have a plastic fence or something put up. There's ways to get around the guidelines without technically going against the guidelines. I mean, I really want to know, and this is from council, what's the worst they could do to us? What's the worst? Slap on the wrist like that? I mean, at this point, I want to see you guys graduate, and I know other board members want to see it, and I have been calling the superintendent and being very annoying about this because I found out about the 500 guests, and I said if it's 500 guests and it doesn't count, then our middle school should definitely be doing just one, and our high school, we should figure out a creative way to make 2 separate graduations one. Even if it means you got to put a plastic fence down half of you guys and say, hey, this is the A graduation, this is the B graduation, but they're going on at the same time.
And then just a small follow-up question. I'm not sure if this pertains to anything you guys are capable of doing, but when it comes to the 2 groups for the graduation, I'm not sure if it would be possible to just have sign-up sheets because I'm not a fan of like graduating with people I've never even met in the school while my best friends are graduating the day before or, however that would work.
So if we remain with 2, I think the senior class should probably talk to Mr. Moran about that idea.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Thank you.
So Linda, yesterday you and I spoke, and I told you.
Mylin, we have somebody up at the podium. Mylin, I have someone at the podium. Mylin.
You showed your vaccine card.
Mylin.
It was liberating. You didn't wear a mask because everybody there didn't have COVID or they were already vaccinated.
You don't have to mute her. Just mute her.
Have them all graduate together. If you're saying it's recorded or agreement.
Got it. No, because we can't be. Mylin, I had to mute you because it is public portion and we have people up at the podium. So once they're done, then you can speak about Stony Brook and do all that. But I have people up at the podium and I have to let them speak. So I had to have Jesse mute you. I apologize for that. Go ahead.
These
Thank
are
you.
all tough acts to follow. Thank you for your service, both of you.
Thank you.
And thank you for this year. It's been hard. I am in the thick of it also. I'm an educator in another district. I get it. I get tons of emails. I get tons of different things going on. And if I don't check it, I'm like, I always have a mask in my pocket because I never know. But, so I do want to thank you. My daughter has had an okay year. It's really come around. I appreciate that the seniors are going back. I appreciate that all the kids are back full time. That was like a goal of mine. The banquet was great. I'm looking forward to the prom. The awards last night was wonderful. It was like, I don't know, I couldn't contain myself with my tears last night. It was amazing. These kids in Connecticut are amazing. The teachers are amazing. I heard when I was at home, my daughter's teacher got tenure and she goes to Sycamore. This is an amazing teacher. So I congratulate all of the staff members that were up for tenure. And I congratulate all of the retirees because honestly, when I heard somebody say that somebody was working for 40 years, that's amazing. I know they put a lot into it and I thank them for their service. I just, listening to everyone, I would love to see one graduation. I'm sure that we can have a lot of parents, maybe a committee, come up with creative ideas, just even to have the kids watch each other. So they don't have to be the spectators. They're part of it. So the one session doesn't have to leave. They can stay there because I agree with Tyler. I can say his name right. I agree with the previous speaker that, you know, sometimes the kids, they want to see their friends. They want to know who graduates. They don't want to see it on TV. They want to see and be there for their friends, the other graduates. So if we can figure out something more creativity out with the kids could stay. As a parent, I would want to see my daughter graduate. I don't necessarily need to see all the other kids. I would love to. They've been in my house for years now. I feel like they're part of my kids, some of them. But I would rather just have my daughter see her whole grade graduate together. So if there could be any more creativity with that, I would gladly, you know, put in my 2 cents, whatever I can. You know that I've given a lot of suggestions this year, and some have been accepted, some of them have been shot down. But I am appreciative. I think that Connecticut is an amazing district. I think that we can all work together. I know how hard it is. I know there are a lot of emails going back and forth and confusion, but it does happen in every district. So I hope that everyone could just understand that there's a lot of information that's getting thrown out at all odd hours of the night and things happening last minute. But we have to know that Connecticut, I'm very proud that my daughter is graduating from Connecticut. It has been an amazing experience for her. I student taught in this district, and I want her just to end on a good note. So that's why I'm here tonight. I wasn't planning on coming, but it's just this last little, you know, thank you.
Thank you.
And
Thank you for
hopefully
coming
we
up.
can figure something out. I'm open
I
to
hope
any
so.
suggestions, and I will give anything. I'll get
we're
my
doing our best.
measuring. You know me, I'll get my measuring
Thank you so much.
out of my sewing kit and just measure the field if I have to. So let's think together. We can be creative. I know, Mrs. Napolitano, you have great ideas, so let's work on this together. Even if the kids just stay. If the kids could just stay. Because even my daughter was told last night that she's a W, but she was going to be in the first half. So that to me is confusing because I'm like, oh, I thought we were doing 6:30. A lot of, you know, Mr. Moran is doing a fabulous job, I have to say, but there is a lack of communication but it's changing. So I don't want to make blame on anyone. Everyone is doing a very hard job, but if we could just do something for these seniors.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Hi, how you doing?
Sorry for trying to name back there, but.
That's
Got a
okay.
little
That's all
worked
right.
up, so
You know what happens? I've done it many times. It happens.
So mine's really quick. It's really just, you know, we're talking about, you know, you're gonna look into the square footage and stuff like that, but there was no follow-up question in terms of when do we expect a response back from you? So it's one thing to say, we'll look into it, but let's get a time frame set right now.
I can tell you we have our next meeting on Thursday, the 17th. We will have an answer before then.
Before then, which is great.
Or at that meeting.
Okay.
We'll make
I
sure.
will give the answer to the community as soon as I get it from the legal.
Thank you,
So
Linda.
it's not me who's
No,
always
that's fine. I
controlling the
just
timeline.
want to get some type of response from it.
Lisa, you're in the
think,
hot
you know.
Lisa, find out.
Get it done, and we're gonna tell everybody where
Yes.
you work.
So the reason why I asked that is because, you know, we know Half Hollow Hills has actually rented out LaSalle Stadium or whatever it's called. And have we even looked into something else, to another option besides our school, if it is square footage?
I'm not sure, even though they rented out something, that they won't have to test to have over 500, but I can certainly call that superintendent.
Okay, so, but even if we're talking about testing, I mean, that's still an option for us, whether or not we would get tested or not tested. I know the parents would get tested, you know, same thing with the children.
Right.
So, I mean, that should be an option for us. And, you know, based on your stats earlier, you said it was like 326 and 90, you know, 326 said yes, 90 said no. But yet we're sitting there separating these children based off of the results that were given off of that. So maybe we do 326 that actually do graduate together, and then 90 can have their own little graduation on the side, where we're taking away from all these other children. You know, I feel like we've been bullied by Cuomo for such a long time and his stats and listening to the CDC, which
You
is.
didn't bow when you said his name.
What was that?
You didn't bow when you said his name.
I would kick him square in his nuts. But at the end of the day, we're listening to the CDC, which is not here in New York, which is not here in our community, which is not even a federal government. It's a third party. So why are we listening to somebody that has no status on us? And like Jack said, Jax.
If you want to call me, call me. I'll tell her.
Oh, whatever. But just like you said, like what in reality, what could really happen? Throw a fence down the middle. It's two separate fields. Who cares? Even if you do it over at, you know, the girls' lacrosse field and the girls' soccer field, it's two separate fields, but they're still right next to each other. There's options. There's ways. You know, from what I hear tonight, and I've never been to a board meeting. I was a little disturbed in something that I heard earlier when you were talking about the $17 million, and they're saying, wow, that's too much. It's never been that much. To me, sitting here, listening for the first time, it seemed to me, you guys just threw a number out. And you were like, yeah, here's the number. So for us, listening to this in the background, I think that's sickening. That's our money. That's our money we're giving you guys. And when I sit here and I listen to that, you basically didn't do your job. That's all I heard is you didn't do your job. You threw a number out. And that's disgusting, because that's all of our money that you're using. Just the same thing as you're using our kids as pawns. You're muzzling our kids. That is bullshit. So, excuse my language. That's ridiculous. Putting these little walls around these kids.
We can't have profanity. We're live stream. We can't have profanity.
Sorry. BS. Okay. But we got you build little walls around the kids where they can't sit there and talk to their friends. Then you're sitting there muzzling them. Then you're going back and forth with all this crap. You know, this is ridiculous. These kids are fine. There's a 99.9% chance these kids are not getting COVID. Nobody's getting it over here. So let's just let these kids be. Let them have a good senior year. You've already ruined last year. This year's half of it was already ruined. Okay? Let the kids be kids. Let them enjoy life. And you know what? Thank you very much for the time.
Thank you. Thank you for coming out. All right, well, this is going to be our last person up at the podium. No, you can come on up. You. Do we have a lot more people that want to speak? All right. Okay. Come on up. There's two more.
Okay.
Yeah, Jackie. Wait. We got you, and then we have another person, and then we're gonna move on.
Okay.
Go ahead. You have 3 minutes. Just remember when you hear the sound.
Absolutely. I think there's been a desensitization towards how.
Can you just talk into the microphone?
Yes, I can. How this is all affecting the children. It's I feel a blind eye is very apparent, and I will start with saying I'm going to let you hear 3 recordings. 2 of them are from the social worker at my child's elementary school that I love.
We can't have you recorded from someone else's, from our district?
No,
An employee?
No.
Yeah. Pause that for a minute. Just pause that for a minute.
Okay.
Pause the time. If it's a recording of one of our employees, we can't allow that.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. I can describe it.
Yeah, okay. That's fine.
Okay. I received a call on a Wednesday, a nonchalant call. Everything is fine. There's no emergency. Hi, Miss McEwen. I just want to talk about an incident that occurred with your son. I apologize for calling a day late. I thought the teacher had called yesterday. My apologies. Give me a call back. No emergency. I call her back that night. Obviously, she had already left work. I received a new message the following day. The message that I received described a situation that my son was taking a pencil, hitting himself in the head with it, very agitated during recess, which was obviously seated behind plexiglass, unable to face their friends that they hang out with every day and even speak, because you cannot speak during the movie. Recess and lunch is sitting behind the plexiglass. And I'm sorry, it's hard to
It's okay, go ahead.
okay, so I guess I'll just skip to the third message, which is my son's description of that.
There was another class on the playground, and I remembered the day before yesterday they were on the playground, and we didn't go on the playground for like 5 weeks yet, and they got to go on the playground like 5 to 6 times in 5 weeks, and we didn't get to go on the playground, and that's upsetting because we haven't been on in like 5 weeks.
So I don't understand. They got there first, that class got there first, and then you couldn't join them?
Oh, because stupid school says that's okay. We can't even go on the playground when there's like a class of 5 kids on the playground. We can't even join them.
So you don't get your.
No, I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. I will reiterate by saying the social worker has become so desensitized, and as well as you all, I feel like, I'm sorry, your letter was great that you wrote. It's a day late, $1 short. My child is depressed. He literally, the message that she left says, I'm calling because the TA was nervous because your son was basically trying to hurt himself. This nonchalant, it's disgusting. It's disgusting for the kids who don't have graduation. You're talking, what you're doing to our little ones is unacceptable, makes me shake, and you should be ashamed.
Thank you. You wanted to speak? Come on up.
Hi.
Hey there.
Good, how are you? I know we're already at a loss with the masks, probably for the rest of the year. How about the barrier?
Yes.
Can
good
we
question.
put this
Good
barrier
question.
down?
We did talk about this last meeting.
The shields,
I thought they were down.
the barriers. I mean, enough is enough. Why are they in a plastic box?
Yeah. Linda, I
My
thought we were
daughter
taking
is
those
sitting
down.
at lunch. Her friend is sitting behind her. They can't even turn around to talk to each other. Her friend reached her hand over to tap her on the head so they could try and play a game. Like, are we kidding each other right now? All the way into June with no COVID cases. They're sitting in a plastic box with a mask on in a hot school. Can we take the box away? I know. Can we take this box away? And if there's parents that want to keep the box, I don't care. Have them put 10 boxes. There are parents that don't want the box anymore.
I'm gonna
There
have
are districts, my daughter goes to dance 2 towns away. There are districts that removed those boxes weeks ago. And she doesn't understand why hers is not gone.
I'm gonna have the
What is
superintendent
going on
address
with
that.
the overkill in Connecticut?
We're gonna have her address that right now because we did think that they were, I thought that they were gone the last time we spoke. We asked them, you said that the
No,
next 2
I
days.
emailed today and I
Hold
didn't get
on,
a response.
hold on, the next 2 days, after the last meeting, you said in the next 2 days they were gonna be taken down.
No, that we never spoke about that because we spoke about keeping them up as a secondary safeguard.
No, we specifically
Why?
were sitting
What do you
here.
mean secondary safeguarding?
Wait, we were in the high school.
We actually never said
Hold
that.
on,
We were
hold
gonna
on 1
say-
second,
we said
please.
we would most
We were
likely
here,
start.
in this room.
I heard it was
When I
optional.
was- when I brought
heard that
there.
on Zoom myself.
So can we direct you, actually, Lisa, can we direct the superintendent tonight to get these barriers down in the next 2 days? In the next 48 hours, every barrier down. Do I need 3 votes to do that?
It would have to.
John, could your people handle it?
Hold on, Lisa's answering the question. Jackie,
Oh, okay. It would have to be consistent with your reopening plan and what you have in your plan with regard to how the classroom is going to be set up, et cetera. So, and
That's a
it has to
reopening
be,
plan, though. I don't understand that either.
This is the problem.
Hold on, Jackie, hold on. That's a reopening plan. Now we reopened and we're using these guidelines from the opening, but now things have changed.
right.
So we have no plan for the continuance of it.
No, so that's kind of the point. So to the extent this issue was addressed in the reopening plan, you can certainly make the change with the board approval.
Okay, that's what I want to do tonight.
Can you write up some wording to have it removed?
But I just want to make sure that that change is consistent with the guidance that the district has to
Do
follow.
we have that planned?
In accordance with the Department of Health regulations.
Well, I don't want to wait till the 17th.
How are other
The
towns
barriers
doing
were
it?
a
How is
second-
Holbrook doing it? Nick Constant, how are they doing it?
The
If
barrier
it's
was
not
a
going with
second
the
layer of
guidance.
This is my
protection.
first time hearing the issue, so I have no idea how any other district is doing it
we'll
or
figure
what
that
the requirements are. This is new to me.
Thank you. We're gonna work on that right now. Thank you. Okay, at this time, we are gonna conclude public portion, and we're gonna go into first I wanna finish this question up, and then we'll go into the board discussion. But Jackie, let Linda finish answering.
So the barriers were a secondary protective measure that was part of the reopening plan. And I know we keep calling it the reopening plan, but it's really the operational plan once the reopening was accepted. Can they come down? They can. There are certain issues with having them come down. They are very time consuming. And we know that the clips were problematic when we had our kids taking them in and out when we were moving from class to class. So to take them down and not take the clips off would actually provide an opportunity for our kids to actually get cut or hurt. If the board would like to vote to remove those and change the plan, we can certainly do that, but it's going to take a while because I don't want to take the films off without taking the clips off. And I know that Mr. Allen has had certain tables moved and taken the clips off, and it is a very time-consuming process.
Linda, how many days did it take to put those up? It took like overnight. How many days did it take to put those up?
Up versus
How many
down
days
is
did it
very
take to put them
different.
up?
We can't
No, I
have anybody,
understand,
public
ma'am.
portion is over now. I'm sorry, we can't have we can't have anyone from the audience
Okay,
speak.
I want
This is board discussion now. I'm sorry.
I want to know from Mr. Allen, how many people you could get, even if it meant we had to get a vote to pay them overtime
Right.
to take these things
Jackie,
down. This should have been done 2 weeks ago.
That's
This
what we
really
did bring
should
it
have
up.
been done when
We did
I
bring it up
said
then.
something 2 weeks
All
ago.
right, Jackie, let Ms.
and
Allen
they
answer the
were getting
question.
taken down.
Jackie, let Ms. Allen answer the question.
So I wish I had a clear-cut answer for you to tell you how long it would take to take off all the clips throughout the district. I can't give you that answer. I know that.
Well, if we don't start, it's never gonna get done.
I'm not disagreeing with that at all. My point is, if we're asking for 2 days, I will tell you that we will do everything we possibly can, but we got to remember, we are still cleaning the building for COVID. We are still going through all of our cleaning protocols that are part of our daily operation. If the direction is that we are going to remove the screens, the barriers, I will have the custodians start tomorrow, talking to the principals, looking at the most critical spaces and making a determination how we're going to go through the district and do it with the goal to get it done as absolutely fast as we can. But I can't say that I can get it done in 2 days and still clean the buildings and do everything else that needs to be done.
This is the issue. Whenever, and I hate to say this, but whenever it's something that we've wanted to get done and get it done as fast as possible, I feel like it gets put on hold. Because this is something I know I brought up weeks ago in public session.
We were here, and you did say.
And I was told.
They were gonna be taken off
I'm not
that
even
week.
gonna say by who, but I was told by an administrator that these don't even do anything typically. So if that's the case, they should have been down. They should have been down because people gotta wear masks. I would appreciate if they get taken down as fast as possible. Do I have we're gonna have to vote or change whatever we have to do, because I don't think it'll be a problem getting 3 votes, that enough is enough with these things. Kids can't see through them. I've heard from children themselves, they're gross. I've heard that they don't clean, it's all smudgy, and Linda took me to see them a bunch of times when we were in different buildings, and they just, there's no reason why they can't get taken down as fast as possible. And even if we're willing to pay extra to people, if we're willing to pay overtime to people, I think you might be able to get some people that want to work.
Jackie, I have no doubt. I have absolutely no doubt, and I agree with all your points as far as what you just said. That said, we still need to clean the buildings. And yes, we can offer overtime and we can have some of the daytime custodians come in at night and do these activities and everything else. It is still a tedious, cumbersome process to get those clips off. I firsthand watched the experience trying to scrape them off.
The company that put them up, right?
Yep.
Their company?
No, we put them up. I put them up Labor Day weekend, 4 days. Correct. And they're double-sided tape. It is very resilient. Jackie, I'm not saying it can't be done. All I'm saying is it's going to take time, and I can assure you and promise you, I can do it as quick as I possibly can. That's the only guarantee I can give you. I just don't want to say 2 days and then disappoint everybody.
That's what I'm saying.
Understood.
I don't want to hear that they're not taken down.
I totally understand.
That's what I'm saying.
Yep.
So if you're telling me you're actually taking them down and we'll get through 3 buildings in 2 days, I'll be happy to hear that. But if I hear that we got
No.
3 classrooms, because I just don't want to hear that we're dragging off.
We will make.
Because obviously for the last 2 weeks, this is something that I think is actually being done.
Okay, we can make progress, and it'll be visible progress quickly, but I just am very leery of saying we can get it all done in 2 days. If we're saying by Monday, so I have Friday night and the weekend to work on it, I see that as being much, much more practical and very likely.
Absolutely, that's fine. I just want to see that kids are going home and telling their parents the shields are being taken down.
Understood.
Not that we were told 2 weeks ago and it didn't happen.
Understood?
Yeah, I was sitting right. So whatever we have to do, Lisa, to change that right now, yes, and vote on it, I'm fine with that.
Amend the reopening plan to take away the second layer of protection.
Okay,
Sounds like a,
I need a motion and a second to
Correct.
amend the reopening plan to remove the barriers from the classrooms. I need a motion and a second.
Motion.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Mylin?
She's here. It's okay.
Okay, well, it went through. So the barriers are to be removed, please. Okay, what's next on the discussions?
Okay, I have a couple of things. One,
Public portion is over, I'm sorry.
senior graduation ceremony. If we can find out, that's Lisa about making it so even if it has to be cut in half on the field, and this is group A, this is group B, as the parents, I'm not talking about the kids will be in the stands. If it's A and B, and you have to say A and B are here, however you guys want to figure it out, but there should be a way that we can figure it out. Yes, there are guidelines, but guidelines are just that, guidelines. We should be able to figure something out creatively to get around guidelines like other districts have done, like colleges have done, and figure it out. That would be great. Number 2, where do we stand with the middle school? That both of them, now that the 500 is actually 500 guests, neither school has enough children that they would go over the 500 with 2 guests. And they both have fields as well.
So I did ask the 2 middle school principals what their concerns were with going to one, and this is the first time that they're doing an outdoor event. This is also the first time they're not going to be in the high school. So one of the major concerns with having the whole class as one was parking at the different buildings, especially during the school day. Another concern was the distancing of spectators because they don't have an elevated stage that's similar to what we have at the high school where the people can see the kids getting their diploma, and they were worried about the distance away that we have to place because we still have to place all of our spectators in groups of 2, 6 foot away from each other.
Why can't we then use the high school field? If we set up the high school field for the graduation for the high school students, why can't we take the 2 days and make 2 graduations back to back? If you're gonna do 2 graduations at 10 a.m. and 12:30, why couldn't we do that OBMS and then RMS or vice versa?
That's generally what we do. We do it here and inside.
Was outside. You're gonna already have outside, I would think on the 22nd or the 21st, you're gonna already be setting up for the 24th, no?
Generally, we don't get the chairs by then. We can look to see if we can get the chairs by then so that we can do one ceremony. We can certainly look into that.
That alleviates all problems, because now you're back at the high school and you're back with everything we were supposed to have, except it's outdoors instead.
I will
Just
look into
looking for ideas. I mean, all these kids want to graduate together. It's not just the high school kids, middle school kids, even the elementary, but I understand with the elementary what the situation is because it's indoors. But with the outdoor programs, there should be no reason that this change actually happened in April. And we're hearing about it recently. But technically, the 500 that's guests happened in April. I don't understand why that guidance wasn't put out to everybody. I understand it's online, but what I'm saying is it wasn't put out with the graduations. To say that we can only have 500 in total is not actually true. We can have 500 guests with the students being exempt from that 500. I didn't hear what you're saying.
We spoke with the principals about that. They were actually very excited to have something at their schools. So they had brought up the problems that they were worried about, and they felt that the 2 different ceremonies would be fine at their schools. I'm hearing what you're saying, and I will bring this back to them and we'll discuss it.
Okay, we got the shields down, that was on there. Food in the lunchrooms, is there a reason why we're not going back to some sort of sense of normalcy where we have kids getting their lunch? There are so many children who are now bringing lunch. Doesn't matter that the lunch is free. They're not gonna eat it. The food they're saying it doesn't, it's just not, it's obviously if when stuff's packaged and it's not freshly made right in front of them, something like, let's say a crispy chicken sandwich or something like that, it's not gonna stay crispy. It's not crispy at all that stuff. Is there a way that we can, I know we spoke, Bridget, about bringing in the lady who's been excellent, who's in charge of it. I spoke to her a couple times on the phone. She was excellent. If there's any way to work on possibly getting this back to regular lunch for these kids. Lunch in lunchroom to go like on the line and pick up their lunch rather than having bagged lunch.
I don't believe we're still allowed to serve in a serving line. That guidance hasn't changed, that we're not allowed to serve in a serving line. It's just like you're not allowed to have a smorgasbord at a wedding. It has to be seated at the table. So I don't believe that guidance has changed at this point, but we can certainly talk to Mrs. Miller about it.
Okay, if we could look into that. Lisa, could you also look into that and see what the guidelines are? Because I feel like these things are ever changing. To find out what they're doing with that.
They change every day. So yes, we will look. So the specific question is, what do you?
The school start serving lunch on the lunch line again, rather than having to bag it for these kids that are.
So essentially, it's a food preparation and food distribution question.
Yes.
Okay. We'll give you the latest on the guidelines on that.
Perfect, thank you very much. Unified sports. Have we spoken to the AD about the unified sports and about adding the way that we had unified cheerleading? I went to the unified basketball game. It was a beautiful, beautiful game to see. Children helping children. I think that's amazing, and I really think that they should branch out. I heard that they used to have the cheerleading unified, which I think is very nice, but there's other sports that you can bring here, and I think it's really great when it teaches kids on both sides, helping each other, empathy.
So Unified Sports is run through Section 11. And as of right now, Section 11 only has basketball. They are discussing next year, including bowling and cheerleading. What we did as a district several years ago is that we did some buddy programs where we included special needs students with some of our athletic teams.
I love that. I would love to try to branch out a little bit and do that with if bowling and cheerleading becomes available. If we could bring that to Connecticut, I think that would be very nice.
There is a man, Jackie, just to jump in on, who does it. He gets the use of Bayshore Fields for lacrosse. Leo is a part of it, and when she was, I brought it up at a meeting that was before I was on the board. And they are the buddies to the athletes. So Leo was a buddy, and her partner was the athlete. And it was an amazing, beautiful program. It was done on the Bayshore Fields, and it was just one guy who organized it and got used to the fields. So I'm sure we have many people that would step up and do something like that. I can find out the name for you. I did say it like 4 or 5 years ago, but go ahead, Jackie. Thank you.
So the last thing was the masking. We got the guidance for unmasking for outdoors. Has there been any issues with that? Do you know? I mean, it's only been a day, but just to say.
We sent out about 6,000 emails yesterday just to let everybody know that the guidance had changed and the board had voted to change the guidance to say that masks are no longer necessary on school grounds outdoors. So I'm sure that Mr. Mallory would be in contact with anybody who's using the fields as well.
One other thing, just about special education. I wanted to have the director, if we could have her come in and speak at one of the next board meetings in either July or August.
I think we were
And-
talking about the August 3rd board meeting, Jackie.
Oh,
That's the
perfect,
first of
okay.
August.
And also, to find out, I would love to get a report to find out how are the children doing now that they're back in school, every day. I know it was something that we were pushing for months before that, to try to get our special ed and small classes, really the small classes back, to see how they're doing. And I understand there's probably a lot of kids that have fallen behind in a lot of ways, but how is our special education community doing? And are we doing anything over the summer? I know we're doing that recovery for credits for a lot of students. Is there anything special that we're doing over the summer to help our special ed students so that they don't fall behind?
Yeah, so we have several programs. Some are invite only and some are going to be open to all. That communication will be going out to parents within the next probably week about some of the opportunities that are available to them. For our extended school year program, which is our special education students, we have increased the number of students that we're going to be servicing. So it'll be open to more special education students to service them in both literacy and mathematics. So we're very excited about that. And those parents have already probably been contacted. We are running some targeted support for some middle school students that will be in person this summer, as well as providing some resources for our elementary students that are, again, a targeted population of elementary students that, you know, our staff and administration have identified as potentially, you know, falling behind due to the pandemic, and providing some targeted support for them over the summer as well. So we have programs for our ENL students, in-person programs for our ENL students, in-person programs for our special education students, in-person programs for our middle school students, and then some other supported programs for elementary that will be done asynchronously.
The name of that program was Challenger Athletics or Challenger Lacrosse. Yes. Go ahead, Jackie. And Jackie, are you done?
There's one other thing that I had to ask, and of course, in the midst of things, I lost my train of thought.
Okay, so I'm gonna let Mylin ask her 2 questions.
I can't think of I have one more question for you, and I can't remember what it was.
Mylin, you're up.
So Linda, did you send out a survey to the seniors and what they were willing to do as far as the vaccine goes and everything like that? I mean, it is their day, and we should really keep in mind what they want.
Most of them only go at 18.
It was sent out to the parents of the seniors because the biggest issue, as I see it, a lot of our seniors have already gotten used to having to do either a PCR or a rapid in order to attend the different prom and dances that they've had. So The bigger concern is our spectators and our spectators' willingness to be part of the day by providing us with the vaccination and or the testing within the window. So, I mean, I think our students by and large will comply. They've complied beautifully, and they've been wonderful about the testing for the senior banquet and the other events that we've had. It's really, the question is, will our spectators comply? And that's, you know, I don't really feel it's fair to say to 90 people, 90 kids, that they can't have spectators because their families don't want to choose. I think everyone should have an opportunity to watch their kids walk across the stage, but we will get our legal guidance and we will see what we can do.
Okay, I also want to do a shout out to all the kids, K through 12. I understand that a monkey wrench was thrown in, where kids were getting a little bit excited, parents were getting excited about not having to wear masks in the buildings. I particularly want to do a shout out to our high school kids. I spoke to Moran about how it was yesterday with the kids, they had to be pushed back. And he said he couldn't be more proud of his kids. They went in, they accepted what had to be done, and kudos to our high school kids for not building any resistance towards us. I believe with your permission, there is a young woman,
Tell you're done. I'm waiting for you to finish, Mylin.
We already took care of it.
I'm waiting for you to finish your questions and she's coming up.
Okay, so you're aware of that?
Yep.
All right, yeah, so that was the last thing that I wanted to say, just the kudos out to our kids, and also to I support parents with vaccine choice.
Come on up. We're gonna open it up just for you.
You got 30 seconds.
No, you got 3 minutes. You have 3 minutes. Go ahead. When you hear the sound, though, wrap it up.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you for letting me come up here. Thank you, Marlon, and thank you for allowing me to speak. I really didn't come up with anything. I'm just kind of speaking as I'm here because as a senior, I just want to say that the best times of the year was when we had brunch and we had things to do together. And I understand in certain circumstances that it's hard to do these things. But the thought of not graduating with my best friends,
Take your time. Take a breath.
it really just broke my heart to know that I wasn't graduating with my best friend from kindergarten. And I honestly, I do thank all of you for the banquet because it was so much fun and we all went home and we were so happy. And the brunch and every little thing that we had here and the car parade and the yearbooks giving out, and it was so much fun. I just wish that we could have had more of it. And I understand it's not all of our faults. I mean, COVID. Who would have thought that something were to happen like this? I speak on behalf of all the seniors, most of the seniors, and I do understand that for many parents it is important. And it is a big part to see their kids graduate live. 100%, I would want to see my kids graduate one day. I just know that I think one of the biggest things this year that's been overlooked is time together. And with the split of the A through L and the group A and B days, and just that whole alphabetical split, it hurt. It hurt really bad. And
We're working on that. We're gonna work on trying to get it so that you guys can meet
And I
again.
do thank you all for, like I said, banquet, and we're all so excited for prom because banquet was so much fun, and so was brunch and all of that. And I just really wanted to say that. And because I know there aren't a lot of seniors in the crowd tonight, I don't know if there were
Well, it's a
earlier.
late night, no.
And I don't know if they're watching at home, but I just really thought that needed to be said.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for letting me speak. Thank you so much.
You did great. And that's why we have to work on it. That's the reason. We gotta do it. We gotta make it work. All right, at this. To adjourn, right? We have nothing else? Nothing else, right? We miss anything? All right, good. I need a motion and a second to adjourn the Connect What? I got a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Meeting is adjourned. Good night all. Thank you all for coming down. Jack.